Buzz and Woody can get it on now.
I've been looking for a Woody all my life.
That was in the comics. Yeah. Oh man.
Ooh.
Starfish.
Keep on posing, y'all.
I'll talk about that.
I feel like we do our whole show before we actually
I know.
do our
Might as well
whole
just
show.
wait and talk about it on here. We never have anything to talk about in like what we did last week because we talk about it before we start recording.
Yeah.
I got two people who want to come on as guests.
Oh, we haven't had a guest in a while.
Yeah, Cullen said he's free now
Cool.
because he's not working that job anymore. So,
The AT&T thing?
uh-huh.
What happened?
I don't know. He wouldn't tell
Shady.
me.
He did
I
something
know.
shady.
I think so.
The Cullen Brothers Mortuary.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's get him on.
And then my buddy Bo, they just started a Dynasty football podcast.
Yeah.
He's always listened to us. So he was like, I'd like to come on and see how you guys do it. I was like, yeah, man.
He messaged me.
Did he?
He messaged me about our setup.
Yeah.
Of course. I told him I was getting ready to make a YouTube video and I would send him the link because I want to do an in-depth video of our full setup, all the stuff I use. Yeah, he messaged me.
You poor fucking guy, man.
Just everybody wanting to know about the setup.
Dude, I get messaged, honestly, probably at minimum once a week. Some random person's like, hey, so like, what do you use for your setup? Like, what's that equipment? And I'm like, I'm going to make a video.
Why don't you listen to our fucking show? And
Yeah.
then,
I'm just going to send the link. So yeah, he can come on though. That'd be fine.
yeah, he messaged
He
me and
seemed
asked me
nice.
about everything. Yeah, Bo's dope.
Yeah.
I've known him for a while. We go back to our Regal days.
He's the one that's doing the league, right? That we're in. Is he a part
Yeah.
of that?
Yeah, because he's got a.
Oh, yeah.
pretty
How's your
interesting
guys' brackets doing?
I think my max points is 124 at this point.
124?
Yeah. That's the max.
Oh,
I can get
wait. Never mind.
Out of like one.
Yeah. I'm thinking of
30 something.
ESPN because ESPN is 10 points per.
Oh.
I was like, holy shit, you fucking suck.
No, 124 is the max I can get at this point.
Yeah. I don't even know what my max is. I stopped looking. It's
There-
shit.
it
After
sucks.
Iowa went down today, I was like, I'm fucked.
Illinois, Texas, OSU, those all fucked me. Whoever OU beat, I can't remember who OU beat. They all fucked me. Crimson or what? I don't.
Clemson.
Whatever.
They're all like there's only one perfect bracket going into yesterday.
I'm
Like,
shocked
in
that
the
that's
world.
in there.
And that's because some guy probably filled out 500 brackets.
After the most recent one, that was a big upset. I think who beat Texas? Old something or Old Glory or
not Oral Roberts, right?
Oral Roberts.
Was it?
Oral Roberts
Well, I don't know if
didn't
that's
beat
who beat
Texas.
No,
Texas.
Oral Roberts was Ohio State and Florida.
After the Oral Roberts game, they said that there was only like a 0.4% chance of any like perfect brackets at this point now.
One time I had a perfect bracket.
No way.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Okay. One time I had a perfect bracket going into the Elite Eight. And it was like in the $1 billion challenge one back whenever they had the, what's it called? And next day, 4 straight losses. It's like, fuck.
No way to humble you.
I was so pissed.
Dude, that's whack.
That's the best I've ever done.
Yeah. This is my first bracket.
Ever?
Mm.
I'm surprised you didn't win. It's usually people who have no idea what they're doing or don't know any of the teams that are just like, fuck it. They said to choose some weird stuff. I'll go with Oral. That sounds funny.
I mean, I knew like a lot of the team. I knew a good amount of teams. I've just never really done a bracket.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
You're doing better than me.
I don't even know. I need to look.
All right.
I just know my champion's still in it.
Yeah.
My only champion left is Gonzaga. Like every other Final Four person got knocked out. I was just like, what the fuck?
That sucks.
Yeah, because everybody picks them.
All right, y'all.
Traffic accident. Beaver County man is being held for murder.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and with that being said, let's get this show started.
Bro.
What
So
it is.
You thought that your 124 or whatever was bad? Guess what my max is for both of my brackets?
117. Less?
86.
47 and 56.
Damn, bro.
It's got to be the fucking worst
You've got to be
bracket in
tenured.
here.
Oh, you were tenured. What's Chris's?
I didn't look at that.
Chris, what's your name on here?
The film freak.
137.
Idiot.
Fucking.
What's mine? 124.
Actually, your potential points are what matters. You're close to the top in potential points.
Yeah.
Yours is.
Ryan's doing the best out of us.
What was yours? You were something stupid.
Oh yeah,
Turned down for what?
I'm an idiot.
Fucking. That's not even fucking football.
I know.
124.
Okay, yeah, whatever. What's up, y'all? This is Made to Motivate podcast. This is season 4, episode 11. Your host, Ryan Weiss. I am joined, as always, by Jesse Unk from Sports Illustrated.
What's going on?
Can you look at the camera when you say hi? Make eye
What's
contact,
going on,
man.
guys?
Just fucking Pokemon it up over
No,
there.
I'm looking at my pathetic ass brackets.
Yeah, there's a
Suck.
Stipe fight this weekend.
You can't find upsets in my bracket. You can't find upsets anywhere.
Fantastic. Christopher, the film freak Kessinger.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, is that something Jewish?
Yeah,
Sounded like it. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Shalom.
I'm not Jewish. I'm Irish.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Anything new, exciting, fun since our last show? What's new in the world of Mr. Unk?
Got our kids through that Rise Up program.
Yeah.
Graduate like 12 of them now because of that.
Jeez.
And then the state decided to vote that testing requirements didn't matter. So I did it all for no reason.
Oh my
What
god.
the fuck?
Nice.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So they all just went through then?
They all just went through. Luckily, like the kids can use it on their resume. Like it's still a good thing to have, but yeah, it was useless. So I've been standing for 3 hours teaching this shit every day for no reason. I didn't tell them that.
That was part of why you were getting that extra pay, though, wasn't it?
No.
Oh,
I just did
wasn't?
this because I knew it needed to be done.
Okay.
Fuck.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, we had an idea that it was going to happen, but they like literally drug their feet all year until testing started like 3 weeks from now. And they were like, yeah, we're just going to make it so it doesn't matter.
Jeez.
Um,
Anything new with Baby Unk, Pablo?
nope, Pablo's good. Got another ultrasound.
Yeah.
He's got like a bigger head now.
What is he, like a apple size grapefruit?
He's like a little bit bigger than a fig.
See, that's what we were trying to tell you about your video. That head. See.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
Fucking nothing else. Fuck you guys. Go to Chris.
Great. I got to follow that.
Christopher, what is new and exciting with you, sir?
I had kind of a chill weekend, at least until like Saturday evening.
Would you call it a chill wave?
A chill wave? Yeah, actually,
Not sponsored.
there were a few of those.
They can, though.
Oh yes,
We would love them to.
yes, I will write them. Yeah, I just I was feeling the weather outside, and I went and got some Stricklands.
Oh,
Nice. I got Strickland's too. What'd you get?
Did you? What was it? The fucking black raspberry.
That's one of my favorites.
Black
Which one do you
raspberry
go to?
The one that's by my house, Ellet, like the,
Over
the original.
the
Yeah, the OG.
Yeah.
that the black raspberry chip or chunk is my favorite from there.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Doesn't
It was.
matter which. Black raspberry is so good.
I usually like banana's always been my favorite from them, but like, hey, fuck you.
I don't like.
And hey, fuck you both.
It's like the worst runt.
Yeah.
It's like just an awe. I like. Okay, sorry, Chris. We're shitting on your ice cream experience.
Jesus.
Yeah. How you like it?
I'm
How do you
sorry.
like it?
I'm sorry for your fucking head. Okay. No, but I decided to go with between the two flavors, and it was that, or I can't remember what the other one was. The black raspberry sounded more appealing to me.
Yeah.
It was good. And then an hour later, literally, I get home. The sun is starting to come down. My buddy calls me and he goes, "Hey man, we got a game going on up here. We're running threes up here, basketball. Was wondering if you wanted to play." I'm like, I just ate a fucking like ice
I
cream.
just
in my
ate an
stomach.
ice cream.
I'm like, oh, and he's like, "Come on, Chris." I'm like, okay, cool. So I went up. What is it? It's down here by Goodyear. It's like a project park, pretty much. Like it's right off.
Huh.
So I went down there and played, and found out my shot's still there. My cardio's just not.
Yeah. We're old.
So
That's something I still haven't seen. I need to see you play.
yeah, like my shot's still good, but
He said that he's better at basketball than he is at mini golf.
I am.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
I'm not like trying
I'm-
to throw my hat out there, but like I played high school basketball.
Yeah.
So
I'm fucking awful at basketball. Like I'm a
Yeah.
hustle man. I might get a steal, but like I'll be the guy that runs up open lane and like
Yeah.
bounces the fucking layup off.
that's needed though.
Yeah. That's me. I'm like the Deladova. Like I'll
I'm the
hustle for,
Delavadova.
I'll
So we got to be
hustle for
opposite
the ball.
teams.
I will run fucking all amok. I can make a layup and I'll make a three here and there, but I'm not like fantastic, but I love to play.
Yeah, effort
no.
wins the game.
I'm shooting like maybe 25%.
Jeez.
But yeah,
play.
that was it. I did an exchange trip this weekend, got a couple that I were looking for,
Yeah.
but yeah, nothing too crazy.
Nice. What did I do this weekend? Went to the zoo, went to Cleveland Zoo on Sunday. Dude, it was fucking packed.
I believe it.
It was like Disney World.
Everywhere was packed over the weekend.
I
all the
go-
restaurants.
We go to the zoo a lot.
Hmm.
I've never parked this far back. Like we were at the
Jeez.
farthest you can go in that parking lot, and we got there at like 10:30 in the morning. It wasn't
Yeah.
like later in the day. It was just slammed with people. But everything's back open, so that was cool. Like the rainforest and stuff's back.
I've never been to the Cleveland one. That's bigger than the Akron one, right?
Oh yeah, the Cleveland Zoo's probably like 5 Akron zoos.
Dude, they got the orangutans.
Yeah, dude.
Orangutans are dope.
So I wish I would have taken a video, but I kind of felt bad. We were in the rainforest in the orangutan exhibit, and there was they have like fire hoses. They use fire hoses for them to like walk on and climb on or
shit.
whatever. So they have one that goes literally right along the window. So it runs where it's like touching the window. And there was this one sitting on it, like nipples, nose, mouth, everything, like on the glass, and it would just follow you. Like if you went to the left, it would just walk to the left, and it's just like as we're staring, like how we stare at them.
Yeah.
And
He's like, I'm gonna eat you.
he
bald
was
fuck."
like, it
Shit.
was like the same thing. Like they were just eye fucking us. This thing, it was kind of sad. I'm like, is he sad? Does he want to play?
Help me.
Is he just staring at
Help
us?
me.
Like,
Why are you walking away? Help me. Help me.
Yeah. Somebody call James Franco. Get me out of here.
Yeah. So it was kind of sad, but I've never seen them like that in close. Like, I mean, touching the glass.
That
It
is
was
surreal.
Wild.
Funny monkey story.
Yeah.
Cleveland Zoo. One time the baboon was sitting there and his dick was just all the way out. Big old bright red dick. And he's just fucking
Got his
going
lipstick
at
on.
it. And this little kid comes walking by, and I don't know why they had this.
Yeah.
But it was like a little screw from like a Little Tykes thing,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
bright red. And I was like, he's got a little baboon dick. Like,
Inappropriate, Jesse.
it was great.
Cool, mama dick.
Jeez. Yeah, we actually had that happen to us at one of the drive-through zoos. We were in like New Jersey or something, and it was a monkey.
Just
But he was on the fucking mirror, just
No.
dude, just going to town. You would just hop from car to car, sit on your mirror, and just fucking whack it.
That's some disrespect.
That's-
right
That's a
there.
smart monkey, though. He's just like, you guys gonna lock me up? I'm gonna jack off on your fucking mirror.
Right.
I just bought this Oldsmobile, you bastard.
Dude, so
Comes over with
awkward.
spray and a squeegee, like $1.
It's like fucking a boo from Aladdin.
Never
That's
look at
fucking
that
Daffy
movie.
Duck. What the fuck was that noise?
That was Chris.
That wasn't me.
That was you?
I didn't fucking do that.
Came out bad.
Jesus.
That beer I downed, maybe.
Somebody's listening to this for the first time right now. Like, what the fuck?
These fuckers drank one beer and they're just off the rails. Anyhow, did Cleveland Zoo. I don't remember what I did Saturday. I don't know. Whatever. The zoo was cool. That was really about it. I didn't get any ice cream, unfortunately.
I can tell you what you didn't
I
do.
didn't get Wally Waffle.
Yeah.
I really wanted Wally Waffle too. So got up Sunday morning and I got up and got ready. And Ashley comes downstairs and she's like, are we going to Wally Waffle? And I was like, Chris is already there. She's like, did you say anything to him? I was like, I forgot. Like we overslept. He already just checked in on Facebook. I know he's there already.
Wow. You're a shitty friend.
Did you see Dan there by
Mm-mm.
chance?
I don't think
So Dan texted me and he said, hey, I'm going to Wally Waffle with someone from work and then going to work. He's like, I just saw Chris's post. Are you there? And I was like, no, I overslept. I didn't go.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I was assuming that's the one that he went to.
I was up front, so I mean, if he came in even after me, I'd probably be able to see him because I had
Yeah.
him right there at the door.
Dude, I really wanted to go. I fucked up. So now it's weird now that I'm working from home and like I don't have like I would have like a day off during the week and that would be like my sleeping day.
Yeah.
Like I slept in both days and I did not. I can't do that though because I used to be really good about the weekends getting up and like making a productive day of it. And I can't do the whole like I'm in bed till 11 o'clock. Like that's awful.
That's strange that you're sleeping more after you've started a job at home, which is no disrespect, less physical.
You would think. I think it's just trying to acclimate to the change.
Mhm.
What time do you have to get up for work?
I have to be logged on at 8.
You just like in your sweatpants and shit.
Right now, I'm not because everything's training and I'm on Zoom.
So you're on like a dress shirt
So
and sweatpants.
basically,
That's what I was gonna
I
say.
just got tighty whities on and like a button-up shirt and tie.
Elastic band.
They haven't really said it's business casual. They said during our training, but I don't know.
Business and casual.
Exactly. So, but I think part of it's just trying to adjust to the new schedule. Like being up and on at 8 is earlier than I was when I wasn't working from home. So it's just part of that adjustment still. But anyways, quick question before we move on. Favorite local ice cream spot? Now that Chris said he went for ice cream this weekend, what is your favorite go? I guess it doesn't even have to be like locally owned, but in this area, if there was somewhere you were going to go for ice cream, where's your first choice?
We're just talking, so just local, like as in.
It can be just Northeast Ohio, I guess, to make it somewhat local to this area. Where do you guys like? Where do you like to go?
So there's two, and one I don't understand why I'm trailing on the name right now because I go there all the time. Name some like local establishments. I know this one. There's one out.
I don't know locally owned necessarily, but I know there's Handles, there's Sweet Frog, there's Menchie's, there's Strickland's. I mean Dairy Queen even.
What's that one that's out by like Manchester? Manchester, and then they have one in Green too.
Pavs.
Yeah,
Pavs is
so,
good.
So I would say
Welch's.
Pavs with Chips, which is out in Barberton.
Chips is good.
Yeah.
I had Chips for the first time. I've only had Chips once ever.
Oh, really?
And I got a banana split from there.
Ooh.
The fucking thing came in a box, like a plastic tub.
They do you right.
It was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, Chips. I would probably go with Chips.
Chips is your favorite? What about you, Jesse?
The closest nearby place is obviously Strickland's.
Yeah.
But if we're talking all of Northeast Ohio, I don't know if does Sandusky count as Northeast Ohio?
Yeah, sure.
Toffs.
I haven't heard of that before.
Toffs is the best ice cream I've ever had in my entire life.
Really?
TOFFs?
TOFT.
Okay, Toffs.
They used to sell it in the Cedar Point, like in the park. And we went up like years ago. It was me, my friend Bethany, and a couple other people. And she was raving about Toffs is so good. We have to go to the place.
Yeah.
So we went to like their home area, like literally got the cows in the back room type of place.
That's cool.
And it was like $3 and you get this fucking mound of ice cream.
Nice.
But it was like, I don't know how really to describe it. It was almost like not flaky, but like fluffy almost. Like it was
interesting.
It was amazing. It's the best ice cream I've ever had. I've thought about it forever. I haven't had it since then. I've had it one time since then, and it was just as good.
I have to try that.
Did you guys like Rita's when it was around?
Rita's. That was like the frozen
it's like shaved ice, right?
It's I forget what they defined it as. Maybe it was just
Italian ice.
Yeah, Italian ice. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Rita's was good.
Yeah. I got it a couple of times, and it was so strange, like the consistency of it.
Never had it. I had it like one time. I don't really remember. So it must not have been like a mind blowing.
Yeah.
Pavs is good too, though. That's a good one.
Pavs is great.
I like Strickland's because I mean the ice cream is really good. I like that it's local. Actually know the owner of the original one.
Oh, cool.
She went to Elliott and just know her from friends of friends or whatever.
Dude, you guys know everybody in LA. All the businesses are owned by your Elliott friends.
It's weird. Actually, I should try and get her on the show. She's the one I talked about before that like is obsessed with Ellen and has been on the show several times. Yeah.
Talking about Strickland's?
No, just like she's a teacher and she just obsessed with Ellen and she just got it on her show. Like actually,
so get her on the show and then her get Ellen get on the show.
I know, right? So I do like Strickland's, but it's limited. Like you have to get there when the flavor of your calendar is there, or whatever.
Yeah. Would you pick it over Handel's?
Is it Handel's?
Handles?
Is it Handles or Handel's?
I don't know. I've had this argument with people so many times, and I honestly don't know.
But it's EL. It's not LE.
I don't know.
And if you say the handle to your door, that's LE.
Right.
So Handel's.
It's a name, right? It's like a family name.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know the right answer. We have to put it to a poll. I'll put it on the page.
Yeah.
I don't know the true answer to that. But I've had someone say Handel's, and I was like, I've always called it Handles, and they're like, it's So like what
I've
you said.
always said Handles.
They're like, it's Handel's, and I'm like, okay, I call it Handles. I don't fucking know.
This is not a Chipotle debate here.
Chipotle. Chipotle.
So I don't see. I like Handel's because they've got such a big selection, and their chocolate peanut butter ripple is the best fucking ice cream ever.
Yeah.
But I also really like a Sweet Frog because I like going and getting all of the toppings. You know,
that's not ice cream though. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it's soft serve or what is it? Frozen yogurt.
Frozen yogurt.
Yeah. So okay, if we're talking,
if it's tangy, it's not fucking.
If that's not included, like if like a Menchie's or okay, so just ice cream. I really like Handel's.
It's Handles. Don't just succumb to him.
And
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
EL.
I'm an English teacher. You can say Handles.
There's a place in Canal Fulton on the bike trail, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's like an old school, kind of like a Strickland's, but like a small, like old time country.
Churning their own ice cream in the
yeah,
bag.
dude. And they've got like coney dogs and like that kind of food, but then their ice cream is amazing.
Have you guys ever had like your own homemade ice cream? Have you ever made your own ice cream before?
Like in the Ziploc bag?
No, like in the actual like churn machine.
No.
It's not worth it. Don't do it. No.
Is it like wrong sugar?
I had it as like a kid. It's just like milk, sugar, and then you just put it in like an ice bath and you just churn it. And eventually it's slowly like fucking slow as shit. You're going to have like a huge workout afterwards, but like it's just it slowly turns into soft serve. It's not worth it at all.
See, that's the thing about like Strickland's, like they make that shit like fresh.
Yeah.
That's gotta be so much
Good.
work.
Well, theirs is like so soft too. I mean, they have machines that do it.
I'm sure, but I mean, it's just crazy. Like they make, I don't know how often they make it, because I mean, they do limited flavors. What, for a couple days, 3-4 days at a time or something?
How many flavors do they have at the
usually
original?
like 3 days.
The original, they have more flavors at the original one though, don't they?
No, it's the same. Like it's so like what's nice about going to the side ones, like Green, for instance, they have from like 3 days ago, they'll have like pints in their freezer and stuff that you could get those. That's how I'll usually get the banana.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's those two, and it's like vanilla and chocolate. That's it.
Yeah. Huh. They do their like 2 flavors of the week or the day, and then you can do like a blizzard type thing because they just mix in. It's vanilla ice cream and they just mix in, whatever the extra shit is.
Their strawberry ice cream is the best.
Is it?
It's so good.
What's so funny? Because I said the extra shit.
Extra shit.
I'll call the extra shit.
I just want ice cream. I don't want bowls of shit hanging in my living room.
Called the shit poop. Have you guys had Chill Artisan downtown Akron?
Oh, I've heard of that. No.
Never had that?
Oh, wait. Is that the one where they like roll it?
No, Chill is right by Musica. It's down that like alleyway there.
Yeah, I have had that.
It's good.
But it's good.
So I helped paint that mural, the Chill mural all over that building.
Oh shit.
I was like part of that team. But so like I talked to the owners and stuff when they were doing that, and you can actually get an ice cream. Like you can make your own flavor of ice cream and name it something.
How do you do that?
And I thought that would be super cool. Like you pay. Yeah. But like you could say, I want an ice cream that's whatever, chocolate and pineapple or whatever, and then you can say
chocolate and pineapple.
I'm just thinking
that's our made to motivate ice cream is chocolate and fucking pineapple.
Under the pressure, I didn't know what to think of.
Jesus,
whatever, chocolate and almonds or something. But we could call it the like made to like the MTM.
No, you got to make it like catchy though, like a like a Ben and Jerry's flavor though. Like it's got to be like a.
We should do that.
I don't know
something like
what's a flavor that sounds like made to motivate?
Macadamian toffee.
Yeah, it
something. I don't fucking know.
Marshmallow.
Yeah. I don't know, but I thought that was cool. And their ice cream is
how much is it?
Their ice cream is really good. I don't honestly remember. I'd have to reach back out to them.
That's good.
And it's not like permanent. Like I think they
do
might
they do
it
well
for
there?
A week or something. I mean,
because that place is I never knew it existed, and it's tucked way back in there.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that stuff is
that
back
place
there.
is dope.
Yeah, they got a jazz bar back there that's pretty cool too.
Blue Jazz is cool.
Yeah,
they got a dress code. It's mostly why I don't go.
Blue Jazz is cool though because it's down like underneath, like underground.
Yeah,
I've
been meaning to go. I just never have. I want to go and just get me a nice schmancy drink and listen to some.
When it gets nice out, go to like Crave for dinner and then go to Blue, go to Jazz just to like as a go out over the weekend or something. Be down.
What was the tequila place that was down there that closed?
There was a tequila place.
I always wanted to go there. They had like fucking 150 tequilas you could try. And then they shut down. It was a Mexican food place.
Oh, Nuevo.
Yeah. Never got to go.
On the roof.
The owner killed himself.
Oh, is that why they shut down?
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that
Really
either.
Sad.
Holy shit.
His wife. So he had the Akron and Cleveland one.
Yeah.
The Cleveland one's still running. They had a lot going on, but yeah, it's really sad.
Wow.
Zach.
Damn.
I'm pretty sure his name was Zach. That was maybe 2 years now.
I did not know that.
Awful. A lot of mutual friends. Like he was friends with my brother and stuff. And my sister-in-law like knew him because she was in that. She worked in that whole like downtown Akron bar scene. She was a bartender and stuff. But yeah,
they were good. Like I enjoyed them. I only went a couple times, but they were good.
Yeah, really sad. The vibe of the place was really cool. They had that like patio that overlooked Akron.
That's what I like.
Fire pit and all that. That's super dope.
I always wanted to sit up there.
Yeah. Cool place. I wasn't a super big fan of the food. But I really liked the atmosphere and like the drinks and stuff were cool. But
we should open a bar.
Dude, Make so much money.
Yeah.
I know,
Right?
you
Bars are
make
recession-proof, man.
So much money.
They're not pandemic proof, but they are recession proof.
I mean, look at all these fucking bars that are still open running and they're still pushing through all this shit.
I know a lot of bars that have been struggling.
Sketchy. I was at Applebee's just talking about like bars and like recession and all that. I was at Applebee's the other day and this dude was talking about how their sales have been like insane.
Like good.
Yeah. I don't know if it's when all these places started to adapt to the like DoorDash and pickup and all that.
Yeah.
But he said they're like up like crazy.
Dude.
And then I don't want to name a name because I don't want to put
the Chapel Hill
there.
one.
Yeah, I was at the Chapel Hill one. One of a bar that's local to here that I was talking with a friend that works within the organization, and he was saying the first week that COVID happened and they switched, they did like 50 grand.
Damn.
God damn.
Like insane.
Dude, when I went to Applebee's, because Steph and I were like, let's go get some half off apps. We haven't been in forever. Not only did they close at 10, which was when half off apps started.
Oh, really?
They still wouldn't let you do any curbside apps. So I walk up and I'm like, hey, like it says you guys are open till 11. Like, are you not? And she was like, no. She was like, and fucking ownership doesn't know what the hell they're doing because they don't let us do half off apps for pickup. So we're losing all this fucking money.
That was the Chapel Hill?
Yeah, bro.
I didn't know that.
And I was just like, oh.
Jesse was so pissed.
Well, tell them I agree. And then I just left.
That sucks.
Yeah. Because that's all I go for is half off apps.
Dude,
I'm not buying anything else.
Yeah, the wings are the slam.
Getting the Asian wings and the mozzarella sticks.
Milder barbecue for sure.
Fucking garbage.
All right.
Did you say fucking garbage?
Yeah.
Really? Dude, their mozzarella sticks are fantastic. Plus, you get some $1 margaritas.
Damn.
Line 6 of them bad boys up. Let's go.
Dude, we are I was at Evans, my buddy that does the cooking. No, absolutely not Evan Poole. Evan Walker, streetwear chef. You want to know how scarred I am from fucking roosters?
Oh God.
I'm at Evans and he's cooking wings that night. And this dude, nothing he
They're
cooks,
just wingtips.
nothing he cooks is bad. He made fucking whole wings like the rooster ones. I almost threw up.
They're just
I was
wingtips.
like, I could almost not even film.
You can eat the wingtip.
Nope.
Why?
When
It's
you
like this floppy fucking arm
Oh
thing.
my God.
when you have a hot dog at a game, it's a lot worse than what you're eating
Yeah,
at
bro.
Roosters.
Bro, roosters scarred me. Scarred me. And he
You're
made
fucking
that.
psycho.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can video this. Like, he pulled him out of the thing, and I was like, what?
Rassisi's cooks full wings whenever they do that. Whenever I bring that, just so you know. And I
We
eat the
gotta do
wingtip. The
Rassisi's.
wingtip's so good.
Yeah, we got to do that. I never realized it. Like, my brother-in-law literally lives on that street. I'm like, we got to go there.
Yeah, bro.
Deck hangout Rassisi's.
Yeah.
Dude,
Both.
let's do it.
I
We'll
saw
have dinner out there, and yeah, I'm down.
I saw a TikTok of you
Of me.
doing the Evan thing, and you're like, salt and pepper, and you're doing the whole throwing shit. And I'm like, look at this guy stealing his shit. And then I saw in the description, it's like parody or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's making fucking Kraft noodles. I was like, this fucking
I
loser.
made
Oh,
shells
I think I
of
did
Velveeta
see
mac
that.
and cheese. I made shells and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
He's like
But-
throwing the salt to himself and everything. He's like, salt, pepper,
I did it and I tagged him as a promo.
cheese.
He's like, fuck you, Ryan. I don't want
He's
you.
like, I
shooting
don't
my
need
stuff
you
anymore."
promoting me. He goes, I'll
Dude.
promote you.
No, but for real, so many people do, because like on TikTok, you know, like you can duet people and stuff.
Yeah.
He has people that do his recipes all the time.
Yeah.
Like people actually see his shit and they'll be like, they'll do one of his videos and like make his recipes and stuff. Like he's getting big on there. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Maybe I should just do that. Fuck YouTube. I'll just do TikTok.
Dude, if you can get in the right following on there.
Like,
When you got Fat Man Scoops calling you.
I always
you know?
got time to
Right.
do a TikTok.
yeah.
It's
I mean, those are
fucking
1 minute.
30 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15 seconds up to a minute long. I don't know. All right, y'all. We're starting with Hollywood. Is that what we decided? Or
that'll work.
sports?
That'll work.
All right, let's
A
do
long
Hollywood.
intro.
It was really long.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down! To Steve, assemble!
Jesse has left the building. His seat is empty. I thought he was getting up to go break the seal. I was like, God damn it, Jesse.
Speaking of which, if you'd like to be a guest on our show or even have Jesse's seat,
Right. Jeez. What are you looking for over there? Loud ass. Sorry for all that. It's Jesse getting his second beer, so maybe he won't make it through the next segment.
This is a cider.
Get ahead of yourself or hold of yourself.
Right.
This is a Chewbacca.
Jeez. Christopher, what is going on in Hollywood Report, sir?
Got a couple of stories this week. The first one, we're going to invade the world of Netflix for a streaming show that's coming out. It is actually a Resident Evil reboot series.
Interesting.
Obviously, the movies didn't do so well. Some people like the first one. I do like the first one. But after that, it got a universal rating of being just a bomb of a series. The new series is called Welcome to Raccoon City. And it's supposed to focus on the horror elements of the game series, not so much the action, which is what the series became. What I like about it is they've already ordered 10 episodes, so it's nice. They can kind of take their time on the characters and the backstories of all that, in and around that city. And I think it's definitely smarter that they're focusing on it horror-wise. Did you guys see the movies and the games? What did you think about both?
I haven't seen any of the trailer stuff. I mean, I've played a couple of the games, but I was never a huge fan. Just like the horror is fantastic. I love the aspect of how it looks and everything and the story that they tell, but
that inspired a lot of different games.
Yeah, but I was always like a first person shooter, so like running around and having to stop to like make your shots and all that other stuff always threw me off, and I was just never good at it. So it would lose me really quickly. But I do have one actually downloaded at home that I've been meaning to go through. I think it's like a reboot of one of the originals that they brought to like 4K or something, like a modern version. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I hope that they can make like some good shit out of it, because the original are not good.
Yeah, when we went to go see, because we saw every movie, my buddies and I, like anytime there was a movie coming out, even if we were completely dreading it, we were going to be there on opening night, because we had some glimmer of hope that they were finally going to turn this thing around in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th installment, along the way. And that last one was the worst one of all of them by far. So to me, like, I've got optimism behind this. Like, I don't see how it could be worse. We'll put it like that.
Yeah, it can't be worse.
Like, if they're focusing on the horror elements, that alone, like tonal wise, is already far superior than those action films were.
She never reloads.
Yeah.
15,000 bullets and not once does she reload.
Well, she never reloads. And then like halfway through that series, they establish her as this unstoppable force. So there's no urgency or vulnerability with her character. Ryan, did you see these at all?
I think I saw the first movie. I played a couple of the games. I always liked the like suspense of them. I thought they were really fun. It was one of those video game movies that didn't really come to much, didn't turn into much that was worthwhile. I did not know that they had something new coming out by any means. So it's going to be like a limited series, or
well, they haven't ordered other series or other seasons yet. Right now it's just one season of 10 episodes.
Okay.
But I think that's good. Like, even if they're 45-minute episodes, that's almost 10 hours of storytelling.
Do we know anything about when it takes place? Like, is it going to be an extension? Is it going to be like the original storyline?
It's supposedly right from when the virus drops. Is they're doing it right from the beginning. And how elaborate they get remains to be seen. The movies kind of took off on their own animal.
Right. Got the plot right here.
Okay.
The story takes place over 2 timelines, the first of which involves 14-year-old sisters Jade and Billy Wesker moving to New Raccoon City.
The Weskers.
They come to realize that their father may be concealing dark secrets that could destroy the world. The second timeline takes place over a decade in the future, where only 15 million humans remain and over 6 billion animals and people being infected by the T virus. It follows Jade, now 30, in her efforts to survive this world.
And the Weskers, that name's big when it comes to the Resident Evil, because Albert Wesker is one of the biggest known villains in the franchise. So,
interesting.
Yeah. I just thought that was pretty cool. Side news here, world of Pixar, 2022, their big feature is going to be called Lightyear. And this is based off of the Buzz Lightyear action figure doll from the Toy Story series. So there's a couple of changes with this. The first being, since this is a prequel movie, they are recasting the vocal work. So Tim Allen is not going to be reprising his role. In his place is Captain America himself, Chris Evans.
I saw this. I forgot.
I'm not upset by that.
Yes. So when you think about those two,
but because it's a prequel, why can't they still be the same voice?
I guess just because he's younger. So, I mean, the thing is with younger and all that, he's a doll though. So at the end of the day,
same age forever.
He doesn't birth. He doesn't you know, go through the same thing as the others.
I like Chris Evans. That's an awful impression of Tim
No,
Allen,
it's
bro.
Whatever. Fuck it.
Jeez.
As close as I could
Daffy
get.
fucking duck over there.
No, that was a boo.
A boo. Oh my god.
That's off the rails.
Jeez. How do you feel about it? I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know if it's a necessity, to be honest. Like, I love Chris Evans, but like, to me, it's one of those things like dolls don't age. They don't, they're not children. So there's never a time when they are younger.
Right.
I'm sure they'll work some kind of bullshit culture into it to, flesh it all out and everything.
It's the first edition toy.
Right. But
Right.
that's the first thing. The second thing is this movie is promised to be the first ever Pixar film that is in PG-13.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Sally gonna get a
Right.
Wow.
Like, what can
Well,
you
Bo
do
Peep?
that's going to make it PG-13?
Probably peril and just action and stuff like that,
Chris Evans is
I
gonna
don't
find
know,
little Bo
man.
Peep sheep.
PG-13 usually has to have some language in it or something, though. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you got to throw at least one in there.
there's got to be something in there.
You get one F-bomb with a PG-13. I don't
Could
think
you
that'll
imagine?
happen, but
It's fucking Zord or whatever.
Jeez.
All the parents are at home. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
or Mr. Potato just says, "Where the fuck's Tim Allen?"
It's not Mr. Potato Head. It's just
Potato
Potato
Head.
Head.
Oh, thank
Let's
you.
get it right here.
Sorry.
It's
That
just a fucking potato.
that reminds me. There was an interview I read with Chris Columbus, who's the director of many movies, but mainly Miss Doubtfire. And there's a lot of rumors going around that there's an NC-17 cut of Mrs. Doubtfire, and I am not shitting you at all.
Oh my
What?
god.
So
I could see that. Robin Williams is wild.
he was
Like
interviewed.
a new cut of the same movie.
Yeah, NC-17. So he was interviewed about this, and he goes, "The funny thing is, this is a true rumor. Like this is legit." He says, we gave Robin Williams so much time to improv and do whatever he wanted, that a lot of the language in the movie and the outtakes were like left on the editing room floor.
But NC-17
God.
is it a rated R?
Well, yeah, it was basically that
Is
he
it
was
NC-17 worse?
Robin Williams just pulls his dick out. Hello.
like so the level of improv. He said we could never put on any Blu-ray or DVD extra feature.
Dude, yes. No, release that shit.
So this is apparently out there, but he has said like the studios will have nothing to do with this.
that would be fantastic.
Bro.
So yeah. The last thing I wanted to talk about. So 4 years and many rumors, debates, arguments, online petitions have brought us the Snyder cut of the Justice League.
Yes.
It finally dropped this past Thursday on HBO. And in all of its 4-hour glory, it came out. Ryan, you said you have not seen this?
I have not taken the time to watch it. I want to watch it in the full segment at once. And 4 hours and 2 minutes is a long time to commit to that. So I'm trying to decide if I want to commit the time to watch the whole thing, or if I'm going to try and break it into like 2 segments or something like that. So, I mean, long answer short, no, I have not. I haven't seen it yet. No.
Jesse, you said you watched it, right?
I saw it.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So when compared to obviously the Joss Whedon version of the Justice League, what did you think as far as highs, lows? Was there anything that you felt was still inferior when compared to Joss Whedon's product?
I don't think anything was inferior, but there was definitely stuff that I didn't like in it. The fact that we had like this, like every time Wonder Woman did something,
Musical score,
Like,
yeah. Junkie XL.
but I don't even know if it's like musical store, because like some of the music was definitely not great, but that wasn't even like music. Like she'd just show up to do a jump or something, and every fucking time it's like this angelic chorus, and then there was some useless shit in there, like Aquaman leaving, and they were doing like that Icelandic song, but it carried on for like a minute and a half.
Almost like tribal.
Yeah.
Is
And
what
it's
it
just
sounded
like, why the fuck are we doing? Why are we watching this right now? Like, you could have cut that. So there was definitely stuff in it that I didn't like, but overall, there was a lot more good than bad, especially comparing it to Justice League.
What were some of the things you liked about it?
For one, the opening scene was great. That battle between, what the fuck is his name? Can't even think of it now.
Steppenwolf?
Steppenwolf.
When he's on Themyscira.
And yes, and the Amazonians, because the first one, like, Amazons are supposed to be the most badass warriors on the earth. And they just get fucking ragdolled in the Joss Whedon
Takes
cut.
the horses.
It's completely done in like 30 seconds. And you're just like, oh, okay. So they're just like fucking weak as hell. In this one, they put up a huge battle. It's like a 10, 15-minute ordeal. Like they really put up a fight, and it looks like they really like, you know, held him back for a while as much as they could.
Yeah.
So that was dope. Steppenwolf was much more brutal, but he had a better story behind him because he was like a nothing villain. He looked cooler. I just like the whole idea of like him being like and spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched it, but like having him be like a fallen from grace from dark side, trying to earn his way back. Like he had a reason for being there.
Yep.
They kind of explained what the mother box was more in this. Like it wasn't, what are you watching? What are you looking at?
We're live.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
They got more in depth into like what his actual goal was.
Yeah.
I liked in the end when they had the final battle, like it wasn't like the weird ass viney control the earth things that they were in the Joss Whedon cut. Like it was just kind of like a dome and the earth was going to be destroyed, and that was it.
Yeah.
And like there wasn't some stupid little Russian family that was getting attacked by the goat or by the insect things, the para demons or whatever. He took a lot of really dumb shit that was like
Tonally different.
super cliche superhero bullshit.
Yeah.
Was taken out completely. It was a lot darker the whole way through. There was good comedy like in it, but it was necessary for it. Like it was meant for the characters. It wasn't like my man from Aquaman every 2 seconds and all that stupid shit.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff I thought was dope.
Yeah. You know, you touched on a couple of the things that I'd noticed. So the main thing obviously was this was totally a completely different film. You know, you can put the storytelling aside for one instance, like as far as the attitude and the atmosphere of this movie, like you felt that doom, you felt that dread coming on these people in this, you know, surrounding towns. And then there's the characterization, which I thought was amazing to say the least. Like, so my favorite character in the original, honestly, I'd probably have to go with Batman, like just because it's Affleck, it's, you know, it's the Dark Knight,
because he's Batman.
But now that I've seen this cut, Cyborg is easily my favorite.
See, I liked Flash a lot more in this one too.
Did you?
I don't think that he's better than Cyborg. Cyborg definitely is the best story in this.
Yeah.
But Flash didn't seem as underutilized in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Well, there's definitely a backstory for both of them that brings them to the table. You know, the other three, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, were like up here when the Justice cut came.
Yeah.
And then you had these other supporting acts. So you're like, well, we know who they are, but not so much in this storytelling device. But with Cyborgs, it was a story of tragedy. It was a story of, you know, inspiration and overcoming. It's a story about, you know, learning about yourself and learning to grow with that self, you know.
Yeah.
And I found his arc to be the most rewarding. Same with Steppenwolf though too. It's cool to have a villain, especially in DC, that has a backstory, that has an inspiration. It's not just world dominance. There's a reason for this dominance.
Yeah.
And I found that very cool too. I thought the action was done a lot better. The editing was a lot more patient than it was in the Justice cut. You know, so that gets me to the time itself, the 4 hours. Do I think it necessarily had to be 4 hours? Absolutely not. I think there's a lot in that film that I could remove. And I'll be honest with you, I'll go on a limb and say I could remove an hour and it wouldn't cost that film anything.
I figured you could do 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're about the same.
I mean, between the slow motion, the overabundance of slow motion, between the storylines, like some scenes that seem to drag on a little too long, particularly in the, I'm going to try to remember it, third or fourth act or part, because it's divided into 6 parts, this watch. The third or fourth had a lot of extra meat that I would have trimmed, definitely.
Yeah.
That brings me to the framing of it as a whole. I honestly think it would have worked better as a TV show than I do as a one-off movie. Now I think I'm not taking away from watching this as a film, but I think if you got to watch those as like 1 hour episodes at a time, I think it would kind of pace your experience overall. So like we talked about, you know, watching it and it took us 2 different watches.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I got 2.5 hours in and I said, I got to go get something to eat. I'm dying here.
Yeah.
I think you had to watch like the last hour.
3. Yeah.
So I think if you watched 1 hour at a time, granted, it's going to be strenuous for people who want to see more, but that's the way any good movie or show always is. I think if you pace yourself for that more and you watch just 1 hour a night, do whatever, it's going to reward you even more.
I've heard a lot of people say that, and I think that it works for the second, third, and fourth hour.
Mm-hmm.
But that first hour would have been such a slow episode of just building up and telling, and like fleshing out all these characters. And if you've never seen it before, it would have been cool. But because we'd already seen the Joss Whedon cut, I think it would have been a little bit more rough. But I do agree that it should have been broken up either into episodes, halves, at least something like that.
Yeah.
You said something about the slow-mo,
Mhm.
and I just want to throw this out here. I cannot stand Zack Snyder's two things. He puts slow-mo on everything, and the dude washes out his movies. There's no color in any of his movies at all. It's all gray or like sepia tone or whatever. Like, it's just not. I want my superheroes to be more like
vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought like, so some of the iconography of everything, like as far as the photography of the superheroes themselves was good, but you're right, there is a color that doesn't quite immerse you as much as, you know, say Marvel does with that dreamy kind of comic book landscapes,
right?
And coloring and just the vivid appeal of that. You know, some people are fine with that, obviously, because it's a doom and gloom scenario, so they'll you know, they'll mark it off as, well, it's just a piece of its atmosphere. But that wasn't the case. It was the same case in Batman versus Superman. It was the same case in all those movies. They were all visually disgusting.
Yep.
So
I got a couple questions.
Yeah,
sure.
Having not seen it, one, did this feel like a different story? Like, was it a different movie altogether?
Yes. So one thing I ran by my readers before I watched this, I said, I don't know if I should count this as like the end of the year, you know, when I do my countdown and everything, because it's like reviewing the same movie over and over again. And they told me, they said, I think you should wait on that, because when you watch it, if you find out that it's the same movie, fine, then trash it and just, you know, you don't have to count it. But if you find out it's a different movie, then it's a different movie.
So how do you, I guess my thing is, having not watched it, is how do you take, I mean, because they obviously had to use some of the same footage and everything from the original.
There's more so in the third act. So like at the end of the movie, you start seeing a couple of scenes that you saw in the Justice cut.
Yeah. How much of it was brought back for reshoots? Do we know?
No, not an exact number. If I was saying anything, I would say about 10% was probably in this movie.
So of 10% of stuff they reshot after the fact?
No, 10% of scenes you've already seen.
So they reshot pretty much most of the movie then?
Well, that was the original cut though. So it's not that they reshot the Justice stuff.
Yeah.
So like they took this, because Snyder came first. There was this 4-hour cut, and then the studio came in and said, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't like this, cut all of this off. We're going to reshoot this for comedy.
More sense. Okay, because I was thinking that when we talked about this in the budget that they were given, that they were going to reshoot a new movie.
Yeah.
Not thinking that, okay, so that makes more sense, because I'm like, how do you take that original story, use a lot of the same scenes and everything, and make a completely different movie? I mean, I knew that they were going to add some things and change some stuff up, but like story wise and villain wise, is it the same basic premise?
The premise is basically, you've got Steppenwolf.
Right.
He's coming to Earth to get these 3 mother boxes.
Right.
And the mother boxes are going to destroy the Earth.
Right.
So
That's
the outline is
only
different.
thing that's the same.
Got it.
But like the way that the mother boxes will destroy the Earth is different. The reason why they're destroying the Earth is different.
Okay.
The backstory for every single character, except for maybe Wonder Woman and Batman. I don't think Aquaman had much of a difference in his backstory in this one.
And Superman was cut more in this, I think. I think Superman had more of an arc in Justice's.
But
I
like
Superman too.
the way that they solve problems, the way that their powers are utilized, the way that they even team up, like in the Joss Whedon cut, it's just kind of like, okay, we got to save the day. I guess we'll all team up. And it's like, you don't really feel like they're really a team. They're just like, they're a bunch of assholes who all kind of just work together and save the day. These guys actually grow together.
Yeah.
Like, and Aquaman was a dick in the last one. He's not much of a dick in this one. Like, he really kind of shows some empathy towards Cyborg specifically. Cyborg definitely gets the most.
Yeah.
But you see the power of the Flash more.
Okay.
And then
'cause he was minimal.
Aquaman's pretty much the same. There's not much.
No.
I thought a lot of his backstory stuff where you showed Atlantis that wasn't in the original could have been cut out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was just to that point, it was just balancing the landscapes, you know, and showing how each of their land has something to do with these mother boxes that were before you.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to talk about.
So to that point, to the storyline and all that, now seeing both of them, can you see why they would have made a decision to make such a drastic change in the original? Like what point or premise?
That's
what
what I wanted to talk
reason
about.
would they change it to what
Donnie,
what do you mean though?
I can show a 2.5 hour movie or a 2 hour movie double the amount of times that I can show a 4-hour movie. That's all that it comes down to.
Would the original have been that long, or was it just that long because they went back and redid it? Like, would the original have cut had they not said we're gonna go whatever the actual director's was instead of Snyder's? Would it have been 4 hours? Do you think?
I think it would have been 3.
I don't think you'd ever have a 4-hour theatrical film. I find that hard to believe for anything, even like The Godfather. I find that hard to like throw that out there. 4 hours to a film, because you're limiting not only your show times and all that, but you're limiting the investment of the audience. And to me, I don't think there's a movie as great as Wolf of Wall Street was. If it was 4 hours instead of 3, I don't think it would have been the same cut.
If you gave me an extra hour, Margot Robbie, I'd watch.
I'm sure you would have.
You can't make as much money though, because you got to think like people. I saw people who were talking about it online or on the radio earlier this week, and they were talking about how, well, you just take that movie, and if you open up at 11, then you open up at 10, and it's not a big deal. And it's like, you can't just fucking do that. Like,
is it something that they could have done a 2-part like they do with like the last Harry Potter and stuff? Could you have done it a 4-hour movie and did a part 1 and part 2 and it been profitable?
Snyder was trying to sell that as that. But the thing with this movie is, I don't know if there's a part in this movie where you could cut it and feel satisfied.
Well, that was our concern with them doing it as the individual episodes. Do you think that would have worked? Having watched it, do you think there's points they could have cut it?
I think you could have cut it when they bring Superman back. If you could have really sold it as he's dead after Batman v Superman, and they're going through this, maybe you add a scene where they get the shit beat out of them as a team at the beginning before they decide to bring him back. And then you end on that scene where they shock the box, he comes back, and you could just do like a explosion or whatever.
But that's almost at that point, that's more than 2.5 hours into the movie.
Exactly.
So you have to pace that out better.
You got to figure out a way to tweak it. But if you could do that so that it lands somewhere at the 2-hour mark instead of that 2 hour and 45 minute mark, you could have 2-part.
Because you could do like an hour and a half movie and a 2.5 hour movie or so. 1 hour and 45 minutes, 2 hour. Like,
you got to hit that 145 at least.
Yeah. If you're going to do a 2-parter, I don't know. I'm really curious to see it just because of all the changes, but I'm also like, I'm really curious to know what the reason, like why they did what they did. Well, why did they break this up and make everyone's? I mean, for the majority, I saw maybe 1 or 2 people that are like, it was terrible. But those are the DC haters that will hate anything DC does.
No, look, like I'm a hard asshole when it comes to my grading, and I thought it was solid. This movie, there's no comparison.
You gave it a 7?
7. Yeah, it was close to an 8 to me, but there were things in that last like 20 to 25 minutes of the movie that just I wasn't feeling it, and I felt should have been cut entirely from that.
What did you give the original?
5.
Okay.
Yeah, 5.
I was impressed. I thought 7 was fair. I looked at your review. I didn't want to read it because I want to go back and see it, but I checked your score and I was like, okay, I'm curious what the.
And your increase is about level with like everybody else. Like Rotten Tomatoes was a 40% for the original. It's up to 73 now.
That's a big jump.
Okay. 33%.
That's a big jump.
Yes. So to answer your question that you just asked, I always like to think the best of people. So like, I like to think that these weren't malicious intents, that why this stuff was removed.
Of course.
But the problem that I have with that argument is that I look at the Cyborg storyline and I go like, they legitimately omitted this guy from the film as a whole in the Justice cut. Like, he's basically nothing but an afterthought, if even that, if he's earned even that. So to me, and I don't understand, I don't see what it adds to remove his complete backstory. How do we get to know that guy? How do we get to grow with that character? How do we get to invest in that character without knowing what triumphs and tragedies that he's come from? I can't believe even for a second that this had honorable intentions.
I think that Joss Whedon had a big ego, and he went into this going, you know what? I'm the Avengers guy. I made these dope ass films. I'm going to do the exact same thing with DC, and my formula will work. And he didn't look at it as the gritty thing. Cause like, say what you want about the other DC movies. I'm not a huge Man of Steel fan.
Me either.
I think it's good. I don't think it's great. But it has a certain feel to it. DC is much darker than all of the Marvel movies. There's murder, there's conniving, it's dark, it's gritty. And he kind of just was like, yeah, we're gonna do my own thing. I'll put my fingerprints all over it. And like, I haven't watched a bunch of them yet, but I've watched some videos where they compared like differences between the Joss Whedon and the Zack Snyder cut. And it's just small shit. Like when Superman comes back right before he attacks the Justice League, there's a scene where Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, goes, Kal-El, no.
Yeah.
And she like tries to like just call out for him to stop. it's different than the Zack Snyder cut.
Mhm.
The Joss Whedon one is slightly different, and she sounds really fucking weird in that one. She's like, Kal-El, no. But like, why?
Almost
Why,
like she's talking to a baby.
Why would you change that tiny little? Why would
thing.
you choose like that different cut instead? You know what I mean? Because it doesn't sound better. She's saying the same thing. It's all the exact same. It's just a different inflection in her voice.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why would you even change that if not to be like a dick and be over controlling and want to change all the shit?
Yeah.
But that's what I said though. It's like I find it hard to believe that there weren't like intentional circumstances to what this studio was doing. Like that's why Ray Fisher was pissed. And like honestly, the DC fandom owes Ray Fisher a big apology, because when the Justice cut came out, he complained. He said, I'm disowning myself from this. I'm pissed off about it. Like, I feel like they ruined any chance that this character had to appeal to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. And all the DC fandom were saying, well, he's just mad because he couldn't share a screen with Ben Affleck or Gal Gadot or Henry Cavill. These are these immense actors, these immense presences. And he feels like he didn't get his share because he's not as good of an actor. Dude, he didn't get his good share because they completely omitted him from that cut.
Yep.
And anybody who watches this, I would go so far as to say that everyone who watches this, Cyborg will be one of your favorite characters by the end of this film.
He's definitely the strongest character out of all of them.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it's because it's on HBO only, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's free. Do they, I mean, does he have the ability to generate any revenue for this as all the extra work he put in? Because getting kicked off the original, he didn't make any money, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. His daughter committed suicide, unfortunately.
He left the original.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So basically he left under those which anybody would understand.
Of course.
He left because, that was the toughest thing that a father could ever go through.
So when he left because of that, they changed the movie because he was no longer present.
They had to bring somebody on to finish it. They chose Joss Whedon, and he
just
destroyed it.
Took an eraser and
Okay, that makes more sense. I thought it was they didn't like, as a whole, didn't like his, and he walked away because he was like, I'm not going to put this movie out. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. As far as like revenue goes, I mean, we've talked about this before as far as how does HBO sell all of these movies for free? All these big WB films that are coming out this year.
Right.
I mean, it has to be like based on subscriptions versus maybe plays.
Well, I guess not so much the movie in itself generating revenue by selling or renting or whatever, but like he would have just gotten paid by the studio. He's not like relying on the movie itself coming out and having views to make money, or how does that work?
I honestly don't know.
He's got to have, there has to be something with the studio because ultimately they own the movie. So it's not like Zack Snyder could just be like, I've got it on a flash drive. Fuck you.
Right. Okay.
So there was definitely some agreement there somewhere. They're making money. I just don't know.
Well, because like whoever the original one is, he would have made his dues by that movie actually coming out in theater and everything, and he made his money.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder stepping in on this one and redoing it and it not going that route. I'm just curious, like all that work, how does that generate a revenue or income for him, And
because of everything, so like they shot everything through Snyder, but like it didn't go through post-production. So even when they showed this, getting ready to put this on HBO, they had to go through post-production with the sound, with the site, everything about the film had to be redone. So like, I imagine, there's definitely an agreement for sure. But there's also post-production that was very strenuous, I'm sure, before they got this done.
According to these news sources, and I don't know how legitimate this is, but they say that Zack Snyder's Justice League is over $650 million earned so far.
Damn.
So I don't know how that fucking works out and how they did that, but that's a ton.
Probably subscriptions, dude. $15 a pop.
Right.
Yeah,
that's dope.
But,
so overall, a must see if you were. It redeems the original. If you weren't like on board with the original, it's worth watching this one.
Yes, I'll turn it over to Jesse here in a second. But yeah, as far as my final grade goes, definitely far superior than the Justice cut. And my thing is if you don't mind sitting through 4 hours, it is. It's a long and it's sometimes an arduous sit for sure. Yeah. But I will say that the chance to see this film, I think, is cool. And the chance that other movies like this could see the light of day someday. I happen to think there's a great cut of Rocky V that I have seen. It's a director's cut of it. The director's cut, I would actually give a 7 out of 10 versus the movie, I would give a 4 out of 10.
Two more quick things before we move on from this movie, because I do have another question for you.
Okay.
The final 2 scenes, what did you think? And do you think that they will build the DC universe off of this because it's so much more successful?
I asked this question to everybody I've talked to about this film. So do we think that, they give the reins back to Snyder and he picks it up again? From where he's coming from right now, he said he doesn't want it. He said he wants to end things right here. I can't blame him the way the studio basically fucked him.
Yeah. Choose a different studio.
Right. The final, so you're talking the epilogue, right?
So there's two separate scenes at the end.
Mhm.
Spoilers again. One was a leaked scene that we got photos from whenever it all dropped initially, and that's whenever Deathstroke goes up onto the boat with Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And they basically are going to team up, and it's implying that they're going to do the Injustice League.
Mhm.
And then the second one is another dreamscape where it's in the near future. It is Deathstroke, Batman, Cyborg,
That,
Flash,
Amber Heard's character from Aquaman.
yeah, the whatever Aquawoman, I don't know what her name is.
Yeah.
Mira,
Yeah.
and Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
And Batman and Joker get into a little dialogue, which I thought was great. I thought he was a much better Joker than his Suicide Squad Joker.
Mhm.
And then Superman shows up and basically like vaporizes them with their eyes, and Batman wakes up. But it's the same dystopian vision that he had from the Joss Whedon take, which was not in the Zack Snyder take.
Mhm.
Or was that in Batman vs Superman?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was Justice League, right?
Yeah.
So
So the way I would do things, if I was going to, produce my own cut or my own edit of that film. So I thought the movie ended perfectly. So after the war and everything, they kind of show like Superman going back to his farm, they kind of show all that stuff. There's a long speech. I won't even begin to try to quote it again because it's infinite. But Superman is talking, and he says some stuff through the end of it. And then I think at the end of it, he says, "And we are one." And then he rips off his shirt, and you see the Superman right there, fade to black. And then once you roll the credits a little bit down, then you wait and show that Jesse Eisenberg with a Deathstroke scene.
Yes.
I would cut the dream as a whole completely.
I thought so too.
It doesn't fit anywhere into this film particular, and I think it just feels strenuous when you try to add it on. Like it feels tacked on.
Yeah. I felt the same way. It did feel out of place because I was like, what the fuck's going on? Because it doesn't feel like a dream at the beginning either. You're like, what the fuck is happening? And
it's framed weird.
It's that fake out dream thing.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of doing that evil Superman story at some point and leading to that, which they definitely need to do. And I liked the idea of Joker. Like that whole banter with them was just good. Like the whole thing about like, well, you sent a boy to do a man's job. And he's got that creepy laugh that was different from his old one. It wasn't like his, Heath Ledgery. It was just like,
which makes sense because this is a dream. This is the way Batman sees him, not necessarily how he really is.
Right. And he, and Batman's like, I'll fucking kill you, I swear. Like, and I just like the whole thing, but I get what you're saying. It definitely didn't fit in this, but I do like the idea of putting that scene somewhere in there, leading to that point and getting to that story. I don't think we're going to get it because they've completely botched this whole entire thing, trying to keep up with Marvel. And it's like, you could have started from scratch. Like now that the Thanos story and everything is done, I think that this is the opportunity. This is the springboard. You could really go off of this Zack Snyder cut and jump into good stories, doing it the right way, and DC could have its time to do good movies.
Let's hope.
But if they don't capitalize on it now, once Marvel starts getting that, Multiverse of Madness movie and Spider-Man 3 and all that, you're gone. You're gone, and we're moving on to the next story, and they will lose any chance of getting ahead.
It's strange to me that they always wanted to catch up to the Avengers. So, like, to me, it's like they always started late. So, to me, it's like you're always coming from behind anyway. Yeah. So, here's what you do. You make a Cyborg movie. You make a Flash movie. There's only 5-6 Justice League members.
Yeah.
So you're not making like 100 movies like Marvel went through. You're not making one for the Guardians of the Galaxy. You're not making one for Captain Marvel. Like you have time to do 5 or 6 films. Pace yourself. And then when you get to the payoff, once you see Steppenwolf and you see Darkseid, then you're going to go, man, this is the culmination of everything we've gone through.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like DC, they've got more noticeable and famous villains than Marvel. That's something that you can really catapult off of. But you also have better heroes in the fact of like Superman and Batman are way more recognizable than Iron Man, Thor, any of those guys ever were. Not now, because Marvel did it right. But when that shit all started off, like nobody gave a shit about the Hulk or Iron Man or Thor or even Captain America, really. Like people cared about Spider-Man, and that was it. And maybe Fantastic Four and X-Men. But those weren't even Marvel properties. So you've got a treasure trove of these great shows that kids grew up watching. I grew up watching Justice League. Like I knew who Martian Manhunter was before any of this, and that's an obscure hero.
Yeah.
But like those cartoons were so much more successful. All the 90s had for Marvel was Spider-Man. That was it. And X-Men. Those are the only 2 animated shows anybody watched.
Yeah.
So you've got a head start, but they fucked it up because they didn't think about doing a good movie. They thought about, well, people are going to love it. It's Batman. And then it just blew up in their face.
I've always, oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say DC's got good stories. They've got good characters. There's something about their movies that just comes off cheap. Like it's in like the character design as far as like when they do their villains and they do their CGI or whatever it might be, it looks tacky. Aquaman was so tacky to me. The underwater scenes, the way that those villains looked and the way that they developed those characters, it's like, I can't imagine it's that they don't have the money because they're going through the same types of studios as these other companies.
Warner Brothers has all the money in the world.
But they just look poorly developed. And that's what ruins the movies. They've got the dark characters. They've got dark stories. They have the ability to make some amazing movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's who's on the back end that they're consistently using that creates these just poor graphics and like design elements.
Yeah.
But that's what ruins the DC movies for me. It's that CGI character development type stuff that makes them just come off as just cheap.
Very well put. Yeah. To this argument, I use the pro wrestling argument that I always use. So like when I look at other companies like Impact Wrestling and AEW, which is now there, I always say, if I was in charge, the one thing I would do is I would watch an episode of WWE and I would say, okay, everything they've just done, we're going completely opposite on it.
Right.
We are not them. We don't want to be them. That is our thing. And the second that anybody even smells a hint of them, whether it's in our lighting production, our ring, everything, the look of anything, they're going to say we're a carbon ripoff of that.
Yep.
We want to
have
be
your own
completely-
identity.
So Jesse said the tone was completely different with DC. It's a lot darker. It's a lot grittier. I agree. And that's the way they should address it. Like it is more realistic. It is more, the emotions seem like they're natural, as to where like in the Avengers, even in a movie where, they're taking over the earth and everything, there's somber moments, but there's also a lot of humor to it too. A lot of levity. Yeah. So I think there's a place for both easily in this world. I just think DC has to have confidence in what they do. And I think they have to, Zack Snyder's a comic book nerd from the time he was little. He's proven this with Watchmen. He's proven this with, Man of Steel, whether you like it or not, the imagery is there. The comic book imagery is there. You just have to sometimes hand over the reins and go, look, we trust you. Do us right.
Right.
And I think honestly, it would work more times than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make him the Feige.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have to direct, but he can just oversee everything and make sure it's done correctly.
Good call. Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
One thing I noticed, just speaking of like poor character design or whatever. So I'm watching the MCU in order or whatever, and I just watched Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, nice.
Why is Hulk different in that one?
What do you mean?
He is different. He is designed differently. It's not the same Hulk.
He's different in every one, bro.
I hate that.
He's different in every single one.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice it the most until I watched Ragnarok, and I'm like, that doesn't look like the same Hulk design or whatever as like the other Hulks. I'm like, it looks bad. I don't
It's just
like
a generation of CGI getting better.
Is he bigger or is it because I'm drawing a blank
the
right
face
now?
is different
Mhm.
and like just his structure, like the way that he is built in
It's
it.
very top heavy.
Yeah, it's just not the same character.
Mhm.
And I don't know, that just bothered me coming from like MCU because their movies are so good and their stuff looks so much better. And in when I watched Ragnarok, it just so clear that it's a different Hulk.
I think
like it's like a different artist drew him is what it looks like.
I think a lot of their inspiration when it comes to that, I'm not making excuses by any stretch, is I think they look at a different actor like Mark Ruffalo compared to Edward Norton and they go, we want to make him look more like Mark Ruffalo as opposed to.
But that's the thing, it's still Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
But he looks different than the Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
Oh, I see.
In like, I don't know, let's just say
The Avengers.
Civil War or something.
Yeah.
They don't look the same. It's like you drew Hulk and Jesse drew Hulk. They're two different people. It just bothered me. Like I want that consistency, especially in a universe like that where it's the same character continuing on and it's done by mostly the same people. That was just something that bothered me. That's a DC type thing that I would expect from them, like where it's not consistent. It looks bad. It doesn't look bad. It just bothers me that it doesn't look the same.
Consistency. Yeah.
The consistency.
I like that
bothers
critique.
me.
Yeah, that's good.
But cool. Hollywood Report, other stuff?
No, that's it. Yeah, just to me, my grade's a 7 out of 10 for Justice League. Check it out.
Yeah, good deal. Quickly before we move on, is there a point do they have it broken up online where you can stop it in segments? Like, is it like YouTube where you have like the hash lines where you're going into a next segment? Is there pause points where you could say, I'm going to stop here?
There's chapters. There's 6 of them. Cool. So like chapter 1, it says like chapter 1, then it'll tell you what the name of it is. It's a quote from the movie somewhere in that scene.
Yeah,
got it.
Like one of them is like all the soldiers men or all the horses men or something like that. Like later on. Yeah.
So you could easily watch it in 6 sections.
Oh, for sure.
And be okay with it.
I think it's better, to be honest, if you do it that way.
Okay, cool. We doing sports next?
Let's do some sports.
Let's do sports.
Swung in, line to deep left field. It is gone! 45-40, run, William, run! 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up to the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the...
This is locker room talk.
This is locker room talk.
Locker room talk with Jesse Unk from Sports Illustrated, the sports scholar.
That's right.
Sports genius, sports guru.
Apparently, I'm a run-of-the-mill English teacher from the shittiest city in America of Cleveland.
Yikes.
I'm not even from Cleveland.
I would frame that shit, dude.
I'm from a shittier city. I'm from Akron.
You need to do we need to do an episode of this show sometime where we do like the Jimmy Fallon where you read like mean tweets.
Oh, dude.
Yes! You read like shitty comments.
I've got an old video that I made like a year ago that I just did on like a whim. It's got 8,000 views and 600 comments. And I scrolled through that the other day. I was like, God damn, the internet is mean.
We need to pull some out sometime and just read through like shitty comments that people left just for fun.
I had the director of a movie that chastised me once.
Yeah, it would be great. I think it would just be fun.
Yes.
Fuck it.
Dude.
Outside of that, what's going on? What's going on in sports, sir?
My bracket's on fire. Like, not in a good way.
Yeah,
it's literally burning.
Yeah.
This is like the most upsets I've ever seen. I don't know if it's because of COVID and like college basketball was kind of like fucked up to begin with, just like football was, but nobody showed up to play.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have trusted the Buckeyes. They were shitty at the end of the season. And I was like, well, they're not going to lose to a place called Oral whatever. And
couldn't handle the Oral.
Yeah. They got fucking blown out. And then they go on to beat Florida. So they're like they're the Cinderella this year for sure. Fucking 15 seed. All of my brackets, I made 6 of them. I had in my final 4, Ohio State blew up, Illinois blew up.
Yeah, me too.
Iowa blew up. The only guy that I have that's hanging tight is Gonzaga, which everybody has Gonzaga because they're fucking undefeated. So, it sucks. It's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's fun to watch, but it's like, I'm not watching now because my bracket's busted and I didn't watch any other basketball this year. So
right.
It's out in the wind.
It sucks.
But, so I heard a question that we were talking about at my work, actually, that I wanted to ask you guys. With March Madness, obviously, Oral Roberts is not a better basketball team than Ohio State and Florida. The tournament is a one and done game. Anything can happen, just like any given Sunday football type of thing.
Yep.
Do you think that it is a 2-part question? Do you think that March Madness is a true representation of who the best team in basketball is? And also, what do you think is the best sports tournament, whether that's the NFL, NBA playoffs, NHL, whatever? What is the best representation of a true best team in sports playoff structure?
Christopher?
Okay. I'll go first so then you can tear my answer down afterwards.
Okay.
So I think there's 2 ways to approach this question. The first, if I was going with March Madness as being like the ultimate test of will and all that. So here's the way I frame it. 68 teams across the board.
4.
Some are,
64, isn't it?
68 because you have play-ins.
Play-ins.
68 teams across the board. Okay. You have some that are amazing, elite, undefeated. You have some who barely just got in on a whim, but they can get hungry still. The fact is, all they need is one chance. And the beautiful thing about this tournament is with one game, everybody's vulnerable and anybody can win at any given time. So it forces you to stay on your feet at all times. Even if you're a 28-0 Gonzaga, you have one bad game and you're going home. That's what I love about this tournament in particular. Now, versus that, I want to look at something like the NBA or Major League Baseball, okay, where you have best of like 7 series and stuff like that. You don't just have to beat a team once. You have to beat a team 4 times each round.
Yep.
Okay. Now, when it comes to that, there's a consistency to it that definitely proves you are the best for sure. It's hard to argue against that, but why I would pick the tournament over that is just that whole, you can't have an off night. In the NBA or the anything, Major League Baseball, you can have an off night.
Yeah.
Football is the same way, though. It's one game and you're done. So I would pair football with March Madness. As far as which one I'd pick, I think it's tougher to probably win 4 games each round. You know, like if you're an NBA champion, we'll take LeBron's Lakers. They had to win 16 games last year. So you prove it 16 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just once. Or 6.
To Chris's point, I think I like the idea of March Madness or the single eliminations because anyone has an opportunity to be the champion.
Yeah.
It gives you so much more ability to have that final game change year to year. Whereas if you are a LeBron Lakers or something, you might have one bad game, but you're not going to have 5 bad games or 4 bad games. You know, you're going to still have that ability to recoup yourself, which is why we see the same people in the Super Bowl or the same people in the NBA Finals. So with it being single elimination, I think it's more exciting, which is why March Madness is so exciting to people.
Yeah.
Do I think it's the testament of who's the best team? No, because again, you have one fuck up. As the underdog, you always have that more adrenaline rush, excitement, like we're going to fucking win and get through. Like your drive is stronger to upset that better team. And I think so often as the bigger team, you can let your guard down so much easier. Like we're not going to fucking lose to them. We're the 28-0 whatever team, you know? So I think that gives the underdog more of an edge. Testament of the best is tough. I think when I think of that, I think about something that's an individualized sport, like a Wimbledon or something, where it's like you and you're the only one responsible for your winning, like a Serena Williams or something. Like she is insane, and you're going through dozens of matches, but you have to show up every game. You can't rely on like I'm having a bad day, but my point guard's gonna fucking win it for me or whatever, you know. So I think that is a good one.
Yeah,
I give them a lot of credit. Like there's no tired day. You can't sit the bench that day. You got to show up no matter what.
I guess the question before you answer, I guess the question is like, so we'll say Oral Roberts wins it all this year. Okay. Magically goes on a run. What's the argument against them that they're not the best team?
If they win it all, I think they are. Because that's a 15-win team that went through all those people.
But you just proved that point, though, is what I'm saying. So, like, if you go no, I still think Gonzaga is the best team because they're 28-1 now or whatever. I'm like, but that one, knocked them out when Oral Roberts was still in it.
The postseason is always most important. So, like, if you have one upset, okay, it doesn't mean you're better than Ohio State. You beat them on one game, whatever. It's going to be over the consistency. If you can go the whole tournament and win it, that year, at least you're the best team because you can be a LeBron and know we're going to get to the finals. We're going to lose some games along the way because I don't care. We know we're going to get there. That doesn't mean those teams that beat them in regular season are necessarily better than the Lakers. They played it easy knowing we're going to get to the finals. I'm going to play it easy and rest and whatever, but they get to the end and win.
Yeah.
So if you're Oral Roberts and you bust through that tournament and take the championship, at least for that year, you're the best team.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference is like a Gonzaga who's undefeated. Now I look at the bracket and I'm like, how many of these elite teams have been knocked out by these upsets? Gonzaga's going to fucking coast. But if an Oral Roberts goes through, a school nobody's heard of, a school that's not going to send a single player to the NBA, a school that has 0 like top scholarship guys, no 5-star recruits at all.
Right.
If they went through and won it, that would be a story for, the history.
The NC State of modern day. I mean,
it would be the lowest seeded team that's ever won. I can't imagine there's anything lower than like 10 seed or some shit.
Yeah, NC State.
What were they?
10.
10. Yeah. So I think that it also depends on that because nobody expects. I mean, if the Zips get in there, nobody expects for them to go in and win. If they do, it's a huge, huge story. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I was gonna say football, but it's just, even though it's a one-off, it's a very team-oriented game with 53 guys that are taking place and they all have to be on it. And I do think there are upsets, but a lot of the times a close to the top team usually wins. Like you get like the year that the Patriots went undefeated and they lost to Eli Manning. They had one upset. It was in the Super Bowl. Were the Giants the best team that year? Hell no. They weren't even top 5 in my opinion, but they caught fire at the right time and they won the games that they needed to win.
But once again, why are they not the best team that year? You know?
Right. And
Like-
for me, best team, I don't necessarily mean the fact of like winning it all,
Mhm.
but in terms of talent wise, like I don't think that the Bucks were the best team this year. I
So
think
the most talented team.
I think that the most talented team is the best team. It's just a matter of if you're one and done, that's just what it is. I think the Chiefs were the most talented team this year by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
I think they were last year,
Yeah.
and I think they probably will be this year, but
Probably.
or close to the top. But that doesn't mean that you're necessarily the winner,
Mhm.
even if you're the best.
Yeah, that's a tough argument.
It really is. Because I mean, there's so many ways that you can factor in what is the best. I mean, because ultimately, I mean, the majority of people are going to argue, well, they are the Super Bowl champs. They were the best team this year.
Right.
But
And everybody will remember it that way.
Mhm.
But
How do you argue against it? You know, it's tough. That's tough to say.
I kind of like Ryan's answer, to be honest. Like, and I wasn't really thinking about tennis, but I'm like, yeah, all that pressure falls on you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can't afford to have a bad day in tennis. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a bad day, you're going home just like any of these teams are. And, you know, as to where you get all of the credit in tennis because they only see you in front of that camera, you also get all of the blame too.
Yep.
That's all on your shoulders.
And that is a fast-paced game,
Mhm.
nonstop.
Not easy.
Williams sisters are insane. And there's that younger girl that's like up and coming right now who's like gonna be, she's like a
Yeah.
prodigy. She's gonna be like the
I don't
next
remember her
Williams
name.
sister.
I don't know anything about
and-
tennis.
I mean, I don't follow it too closely. I mean, I knew like the big names, Andre Agassi, stuff like that, but just, I mean, I just give them a lot of credit for the athleticism of it and just going through those tournaments on your own and
Mhm.
getting to that next step. You're a hell of an athlete.
And that's one of the things too, like tennis, you have to be perfect. Like
Yep.
even in one-on-one sports like boxing, MMA, you slip one thing on accident, you're knocked out cold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tennis, you slip one thing, you miss that, and you're going into the very next,
Yep.
round. So that's a good answer.
Yeah. What would you say as far as golf in that parallel too? So like golf versus specifically putt.
Golf is
Golf isn't a
interesting.
sport, so
Oh,
Professional golf, I give them a lot of credit. There's so many factors involved in that game that I think are outside of your control that it could go any way.
yeah.
I mean, you got the wind blowing or something, it bounces off the grass weird. Like in tennis, you're really in full control of that game. You know, like outside if it's like raining or something, which I don't know if they continue to even play at that
I don't
point.
think they do.
No, tennis doesn't. Golf plays for everything through light except lightning.
Yeah. So, I mean, golf, I'm impressed by them. I mean, I think there's a lot of talent involved in that. I don't think I'd put it near the same level as like a tennis though, just because there's a lot of outside factors involved. There's more opportunity for like any given Sunday type thing in that where like something just weird could happen on the green that day and the other person wins.
Out of your
Not-
control.
Yeah. And they're not necessarily the better golfer. So circumstance, there's a lot more circumstance to
Yeah.
that.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
In other news, our famous city of Cleveland is going to be able to hold the draft after all. We were always going to be doing it, but it was a matter of whether or not it was going to be a virtual draft. And now we are going to have fans in attendance. We are going to have the NFL draft prospects there. The famous, members of the teams will be there.
Yeah.
The GMs, the scouts, everybody will be there. They said that we will be utilizing the Science Center, the Convention Hall, the Rock Hall, and the Harbor area. What do you guys think about that? With COVID and everything else
Chris?
going on still.
Have they said how many fans are allowed to attend? Or?
It is quite a few. I do not remember exactly what the number is, but it is in the tens of thousands.
Okay.
Jeez.
In order to be actually in the area for fans, like when they pick the picks and everything, you have to be vaccinated. But as far as people out in the streets and everything, there's no rules that I've seen.
Okay. I think it's cool. I definitely think it's a first step to some kind of normalcy, and it's kind of cool that that's happening in our own,
It's cool
city.
for Cleveland.
Especially Cleveland's riding a lot of luck right now with momentum and everything going on. So yeah, it's very cool to have that happen in our own backyard. I don't know. I think about the worst thing that could happen. And, as far as a spike from everything that goes on, I don't know if I would have had tens of thousands of people, maybe like the same as a game. Maybe you have like 3,000 people or something like that, come, and that's a little better, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm to the point where I'm vaccinated. I'm immortal, so I'm going. I'm going to be up there. I'm going to wear my mask still, but I am definitely going to be up there for that because that's just one thing that I've always wanted to do is go to the draft and to have it in Cleveland. I think Cleveland will put on a really good show. A lot of people don't give us enough credit because we have a really bad reputation we're the trashiest city in the US, according to some guy on YouTube. But I think we'll put on a good show. I think we'll really represent who we are. And I think that we'll bring home the idea that we're not the home of football. It's a little bit south of us, but we're pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And we're a football town. And I think that we'll represent the NFL well.
I think it's cool. I mean, outside of all the COVID stuff, I think it's a great opportunity for Cleveland. I mean, revenue, it brings in revenue. It's cool for the fans to be able to have that here. I mean, you take one of the worst teams in the NFL and you put the draft in their city. I think that's pretty cool.
Didn't we beat you guys in the playoffs though?
I was waiting for someone to say
spanked you guys.
But no, I think it's exciting. I mean, I wouldn't mind being there.
You're not allowed.
Throw COVID in the loop. I'm going to say throw COVID in the loop. I don't know if it's the best idea. We'll see what they do. I mean, it really a lot of that's going to be placed on the city of Cleveland and how they mandate the crowds outside of the arena. Obviously they're making you be vaccinated to be within the vicinity, and I agree that that's a great thing. What goes on outside? Look, we're going to have the spotlight on us, and I think that they really need to organize and make sure that they've got a good plan in place, that we don't look like a bunch of fools, a bunch of people running around all willy-nilly on camera, no mask, and acting a fool, which is going to be hard to mandate when you got an event like that to hold order. But ultimately I think it's pretty cool that it's going to be here. How did they decide that? Like, what's the selection process for a city or whatever?
I think you have to submit and then it goes to a voting committee, obviously, but I don't know how the selection actually goes through. I know that we were supposed to have it, I believe, last year, but it got delayed because of COVID, and Vegas took it the year before, and then all that other stuff. I'm interested to see how it looks because you don't get a ton of time. Like, it's not like the Olympics where 4 years in advance. Right. We had like 2 years notice. So
did you see those blueprints though? Like the pictures that are floating around online?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Awesome. It looks cool.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it is we had the national convention several years ago, so we built all those extra hotels and stuff. So at least we'll have the space to house people that are going to be coming in from out of state or whatever. And those facilities will get used, because I'm like, when they built all of that, there's all those hotels and shit that I'm like, there's no way that these places are getting use long term. We don't have events like that very often, you know. So
draft is very rare.
Anything like big convention wise, we don't have a lot of stuff like that going on. But geez, Jesse's camera just went through a freaking 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be cool, though. I'm wondering what all they have to do to prepare the facilities and stuff.
I mean, they've been doing construction on that long grass area that was in that picture for a while.
Yeah.
It's going to be dope, man. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
That'll be cool.
And the thing is this is the first year where the draft doesn't really matter for us.
Right.
We're picking at like 26 or something like that. Like, we're one of the best teams in the league, picking after the Steelers. So if you guys need to come and see who you're going to get to turn your franchise around, you're welcome. Just don't wear any of that Pittsburgh shit.
Juju signed another year. I'm happy about
I know.
That. Loyalty. That's loyalty.
What a fucking
you
loser.
Can hate all you want. I give respect to that.
I'm going to go to the Jets. I'm going to make some more money.
Nobody wants to go to the Jets.
I'm going to be a TikTok man.
Dude, I respect that, though. That's his team, and he's sticking out, and he's showing that the money isn't what matters. He wants to play for the team that matters to him, and if it was Baker, you'd be like,
Juju sucks.
Oh my
if it was
gosh.
Baker, we'd be paying him $400 million because he's the franchise quarterback of the Cleveland Browns that won us a Super Bowl.
If it was Baker and he's stuck with the Browns over taking a larger contract over loyalty, you'd be sucking him off.
Baker would never make it to free agency because he's a savage, and we don't let bums We let our bums get to free agency.
Framing devices are everything.
God, it can't just be football season already.
Dude, I can't wait.
But my boys pick 10th on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope we need to do all defense.
Which is a perfect transition because I've heard that you are not going to be going all defense.
Yeah.
I hear that you guys are going to be getting the unicorn, the illustrious, the evasive, the perfect tight end prospect, Kyle Pitts.
Why? God, why?
Dude, this kid is a fucking freak. He's 6'6", 260 pounds, and today he ran a 4.46. He is LeBron James. He played 8 games last year, had 700 plus yards, 43 receptions, and 12 touchdowns in 8 games.
Who did he play for?
Florida Gators.
We have already proven that we can make a tight end out of anybody. We made Blake Jarwin look amazing before he fucking injured himself.
Imagine.
You guys are going to get him? Like it's Cowboys are going to sign him?
Well, he's got to be drafted, but
Right.
there are many projections saying that he's either going to the Eagles at 6 or the Cowboys at 10.
No one would pick him up sooner than that based on his talent, you don't think?
Because he's a
It's not
tight end.
important.
Tight ends just don't go that early.
Yeah.
Even at 6 and 10, that would be fucking early.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He can't really block. He's willing to block. He tries to block. He's just so fucking tall that it's hard for him to get that low leverage that you
Yeah.
need to be an effective blocker.
Just like
Yeah.
forehead.
But the
Right.
kid is insane. Like when you're like 6'6", like you're just big. Like
Yeah.
Rob Gronkowski's just big.
Big dude.
This dude can jump out of the stadium on top of it though. Like you can literally throw him a jump ball like 9 feet in the air and he's going to go and get it over like there's nobody that can guard him.
Yeah.
He's insane. Like if he does not turn into a top tight end prospect, I don't know. Like it's a freak thing.
I'll tell you this, he's going to have to score 50 points with our defense. So
Nothing that the Browns are interested in.
with Dak, Zeke, Amari Cooper.
Zeke's not the
CD
same Zeke.
But with Amari, CD, and Kyle Pitts out there, you can't put 8 in the box.
Oh, we have one of the best receiving cores in football, no doubt. But it's not our offense that's the problem. It's never been our problem.
I don't think that Zeke is as bad as he was last year. You guys didn't have a great line. You had no quarterback. They crowded the box and said, yeah, we'll see if you can get it to him.
Dude,
Dak comes back. Not stopping him.
he didn't look good before we got
You
injured.
could have the best offense in the league.
I think he ended up being a flop.
Yeah.
He did not.
He got the money and he's done.
Yeah.
He quit.
He did not turn into he did not come out to be the player that everyone expected him to be, man.
Ezekiel Elliott didn't come out and become the player that he. Oh my God! Let me pull up some stats because hindsight
just didn't do it.
No.
Well, the stats are going to be great because 3 out of those 4 years he did really well.
I just think
these are Ezekiel Elliott's
oversold.
stats.
I think he was oversold.
In his first year as a rookie, he had 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns.
He had the best line in football.
He had 32 receptions. His second year, this was when he had a 6-game suspension. He had 983 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Guess who was the best line in football that
year?
year?
10 games. The year after that, he had 1,400 yards and 6 touchdowns, averaged 4.7 yards a carry still. And then the year after that, he had 1,350 with 12 touchdowns and 54 receptions.
Do you think Jesse likes Zeke Elliott?
Last year, Zeke's worst year. Zeke's worst year. He had 979 yards and 6 touchdowns, still averaged 4 yards a carry, and he still had 52 fucking receptions.
Okay, we'll see.
That is the Alabama killer, the all-time great. Ezekiel Elliott, feed the beast. Do not disrespect that man.
We'll see.
He is a first ballot Hall of Famer if he keeps this trend going.
Oh my goodness.
We'll see. Because when the end of the season comes and if he fucking drops his shit again, I'm going to come right on here and I'm going to say disrespect is going to be my first word.
Oh, I would take Zeke in a heartbeat. I have Nick Chubb.
Everybody would. You'd be stupid not to.
I'll trade you Kareem Hunt for Zeke right now.
Not straight up, I wouldn't.
Straight up.
No.
He sucks, you said.
Not straight up.
Kareem Hunt doesn't suck.
Kareem Hunt doesn't get the touches that Zeke does.
Well, he would on the Cowboys.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He hasn't proven himself yet.
He's fantastic.
Jeez.
I
guess Jesse likes Ezekiel.
I love Ezekiel Elliott. I think he's fantastic.
Jesse is the most passionate about people he loves and the biggest hater for people he does not
not
like.
a hater. It's facts.
It's just so-
I put facts
it's just
down
so
when I hate.
Funny.
I say the same thing that I say for the Cowboys every year. Hashtag prove me wrong.
I don't think you guys will take Pitts. I think it would be good for you. I think it'd be better than you would think because you can fix that defense elsewhere. But
Take the fucking defense. We have no budget. Take the fucking defense.
that is true. And then last thing I got, our king LeBron James has a high ankle sprain out indefinitely.
The timing of this was quite peculiar, Charlie.
Why so? Why?
Because they played the Suns the next night and they got whomped by 20.
God. You think he's scared of the Suns?
We beat him earlier this year.
There's no fear in the king.
We beat him earlier this year.
He needed an excuse to go 2-0 against you or 0-2 against you.
He's been 0-2.
Did they have a AD whenever you guys beat him?
No.
Yeah. See? Got LeBron and some bums out there playing against these super Suns.
I told you, though, a couple weeks ago on this show that the Lakers will not win the title without AD.
Oh, yeah. I don't disagree with that. But you can't win a title with one superstar anymore. Yep. It's just impossible. It can't be done.
What do you think their chances are? Is he going to be back? Are they going to do finals or rerun?
He'll be back before the playoffs for sure. The problem is with a high ankle sprain, you never know how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
That was the most shook I've seen him ever.
Yeah. Like a high ankle sprain could easily be a 3-week injury, or it could be a 9-week injury.
Jeez.
Like it all depends on your healing, whether you re-aggravate it. I mean, Colt McCoy had a high ankle sprain and we were expecting to have him back in 3 weeks and dude didn't play again that season.
That's true.
The thing that LeBron has going for him is that dude takes care of himself.
Yeah.
He very well takes care of his body. So I would see him on the shorter end of being out than the longer end, unless he rides it out to just get a fucking break.
LeBron does not heal. He regenerates. That man will come back healthy. He will be ready for the playoffs. They just have to make it to the 8th seed. And they're so far ahead right now. They're killing it. They're playing really well. I can't imagine that they're going to lose. I mean, I bet you AD, I don't know what AD's injury is because I haven't been really following this year.
I don't think they fall lower than 4, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either. And I think AD will be back in order to carry them to the playoffs before. If LeBron has a serious injury, they will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of can he come back, be in shape, getting everything else. And I can't imagine that he won't be. Yeah. Even with a high ankle sprain, you can stay in cardiac or cardio shape. Cardiac arrest.
Jeez, let's not go there.
Good
Lord.
You know, the game he went down was interesting because he goes out of the game for a few minutes, but then he comes back in. He tries to like work his way through it like the typical LeBron always does. Like, you know, he'll fight his way through it. You know, the guy's full of strength and perseverance. And then when he shot that 3 off, you could see like he was aiming with just kind of one leg. Yeah. And then he starts running off again and he ran right off the court.
Was it an actual injury or was it a LeBron I'm flopping around like a dead fish injury?
No, so the player on the other team, I can't remember who it was. He played for the Hawks and he went down, accidentally clipped him. It didn't look intentional at all. Like he went down. It was just the way his foot and then his ankle turned. I thought he broke his ankle at first, but it was the way his ankle turned. And then all of LeBron's teammates called that guy out for it.
The disrespect for.
I love LeBron, but there's one thing I've never understood about a man that talented is his flops. They're so bad.
It's the superstar flops.
I don't know if it's because he doesn't think he's getting the fouls called on him because of who he is.
Well, he doesn't get it.
But when he flops, they're so awful and obvious. Mm-hmm. I can't.
That's just basketball IQ, though. At this point, this is the thing that I've always said and I've always believed. Dependent on the era that he was in, LeBron has learned the game better than anybody else. Yeah. LeBron knows if I can get a foul, it is an easy turnover. It's an easy 2 points. It's whatever I want it to be.
Yeah. Smart.
It's simple. It's just smart. If LeBron played in the 80s and at his size and strength, they said, yeah, go out there and beat the shit out of Michael. He would have ran in and he'd have beat the shit out of people.
I just think what Ryan's trying to say is that nobody believes that anybody is knocking down that 6'8" Mac truck.
100%. Right? Nobody's knocking him down, but nobody's knocking down AD. Nobody's knocking down like even James Harden, he barely gets touched. He gets to the line all the time.
Yeah.
But like none of these guys are fucking huge.
They're just so obvious. And then one of the other plays of his that drove me crazy. There's 2 actually. One was his walk from half court, where he literally walked from like half court to the 3-point line without dribbling the ball.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That shit does
the Denver
me.
game.
And I'm like,
the Denver game.
I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And then the one where he's on the sideline and he's like standing halfway in the middle of the court while they're still playing.
Yeah.
With his shoes off.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, get off the fucking court, man.
Yeah.
We know you're
that
a god. But like, come on, like respect the game, bro.
That shit does bug me.
I love him, but that kind of shit's like he knows who he is. So
But
he's like,
like,
fuck it, I do
when
what I
he
want.
barely gets touched on the eye or something, and it's definitely a foul, and he goes like, "Ah!" and he throws his head all the way back.
I hate it.
You gotta sell it though.
I know.
You know
Because
who-
like you're not gonna poke me in the fucking eye and not get a call. Like I'm throwing my shit back.
The best seller ever was Reggie Miller, bar none.
Yes.
Reggie Miller was a great seller. So like I remember the time John Starks headbutts him in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he goes like this to the ref the whole time. He's like the whole way, and like right after they gave him the basketball, he's fine. He's like,
Yep.
I just picture all of LeBron's being in like slow motion. Like it's just so blatant as he like falls back, and he's so dramatic the way that he does it.
yeah,
It's like you're such a bum.
Yeah.
Dude. But it serves a
Everybody does it.
purpose.
Everybody has done it. Going back to those old days, like even Jordan, there's an entire article out there that you can read where he talks about
Jordan flopped hard.
the
Yeah.
Pistons were trying to hurt me.
I remember that.
And he was a fucking crybaby too. So
Yeah.
To be fair, the Pistons fucked him up.
they did. But you know what? Everybody,
hard.
everybody's always like, well, Jordan wouldn't have done that. He was a tough guy.
Yeah.
No, the fuck he wasn't. He was a bitch and he didn't want to get hit any more than anybody else. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. All
Remember
right.
my comment about if he loves someone, he loves him. When he hates him, he hates him.
Am I wrong? Is there not an article where Jordan is saying they were trying to hurt me? You were trying to hurt me. Somebody needs to call more fouls because I didn't get to the line enough because they were trying to hurt me. And Bill Lambier, he's a big, tall,
This
white
is like
male
the
man.
total opposite of the Ezekiel Elliott treatment.
Right. All right.
That's all I got for sports.
That's enough for sports. Let's try and knock out Let's Get Social before Jesse has to
Have an aneurysm.
skedaddle
I
out.
do got to
here.
skedaddle.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes.
I wonder if my student ever found the podcast.
Probably.
Hey, Nick, if you found this, come up to me tomorrow and say Guatemala.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Couple things for Let's Get Social. Some COVID news. It's been a little while. Couple things that kind of roll into the conversation around the Hall of Fame, or not the Hall of Fame, the draft happening in Cleveland. So COVID cases are apparently like booming in a lot of states right now.
Yeah, 15.
I did not know that.
It was COVID cases across more than half the U.S. country race as they try and vaccinate.
Are we one of them?
In 27
Not yet.
states, the U.S. 7-day average on a daily coronavirus is up by at least 5%. So things are booming, but again, we are coming off of St. Patrick's Day and stuff, and we know that these types of events yield higher numbers. So I'm kind of curious to see when we have the draft, how that plays into it, how we make sure that we manage the expectations on what people do and stuff. Miami Beach has just extended like a shutdown there because they had such an influx because of how many people have been going there for like spring break and stuff. So they just pushed out like a shutdown through into April. There was more than 1,000 arrests as their spring break just goes all willy-nilly down there, which is crazy.
Because you know what's better when you're trying to get 1,000 people off the beach? Put 1,000 people behind bars together.
Bro.
Right.
I mean, I can't even imagine how you make 1,000 arrests. Like, what even constitutes that? But I mean, I did see pictures of like spring break and parties, even in Cleveland. Like, I looked at pictures online from some of the St. Patrick's Day parties and stuff. People acting a fool,
Dude, it was
shoulder
like
to
that in Akron.
shoulder, no mask, nothing, just going ham.
Steph and I wanted to go out and get something to eat this weekend, and literally every single parking lot was filled to the brim. Some places were out the door with their lines. I was like, we're not going there. Like, fuck
Right.
that. We had to drive around for like 30 minutes to find a place.
I feel
Like
like
that everywhere.
I feel like we've talked about this already with like last year's. Remember last year's spring break when they had that video going around of like everybody going nuts and not even wearing a mask or anything? God damn, it's like history just repeats itself no matter how stupid.
And even then, it wasn't that bad. We were dealing with like 200 cases then.
Right. It was still real
like it
early
was just
on.
like, maybe one person there has it. Like whatever. Now it's like everybody there has it. We've been doing this for a year. There are 500,000 dead people. Like, how the fuck are we not figuring this out?
Right.
And Ohio hit 1 million cases today.
Did we?
Yep.
So I mean, it's interesting just to see numbers are still on a rise. We are a year later at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
really, we're a year in. And we're still battling it, even with all the vaccinations and stuff happening. Like, it's crazy to think we're still a year in and we're not through it. You know, we thought, this is going to happen for a month. We're going to be fine. Like, I never expected a year later for us to still be under mandate from it. You know, I figured it would have dwindled off. People would still have it, but things were back to some sort of normalcy. This is wild.
Yeah. Ohio today currently has 48,500 active cases.
Yeah.
Wild.
We're doing our gender reveal in a couple of weeks, and we told like everybody, like, we would love to have all of our friends and all of our family and everybody come, but we were like, we're coming siblings, parents, and her grandma where we're doing it. Like, nobody else is invited. And like, her sister accidentally made the group public, and a couple people were like, yeah, I'll come. And I was like, nope, you're not. Nobody's coming. Like, we all had to make separate posts. Like, if you didn't get a single like physical invitation, do not show up to this. And it's just crazy. Like, people just don't think, they don't care.
You got to be careful. I mean, Ohio has rolled out vaccines are supposed to go public for everyone like end of this month, which is pretty cool. I mean, getting in is like nearly impossible. We're trying to they added cancer to the list of like early recipients, so we've been trying to get Ashley in. Can't find anything.
That's what I went through when I tried to get my mom in,
and it's just going to get worse now that it's going to open to like everyone.
Right.
So that's kind of hard to manage, like trying to get it out to the people. I know they're going to do these mass vaccination sites, and I'll be curious to see how that works. So
I heard they're going to be using stadiums and stuff. It's like tens of thousands of people come in, get
Chapel
your
Hill
vaccinations,
Mall.
boom, boom, boom.
No, they moved that. Because the deal went through this week. So Chapel Hill got bought this week. So basically they moved it from Chapel Hill to the Talmadge Fairgrounds now.
Okay.
Which is probably better because it's outside.
Yeah. So they're going to, like there's a place in Cleveland, like Convention Center or something that's going to have it. So they're going to do mass facilities. But I'm curious how quickly you'll be able to get through and sign up to do that. Because originally they were talking about it going to a lottery before I think they rolled out like it's going to go live now. It was like going to be a lottery process and whatever. So that's still going on. I just read an article about, I think it was Royal Caribbean. They will require you to be vaccinated to travel. You cannot go on a cruise with them unless you have the vaccination.
Has begun.
So some of that vaccination passport thing that we have kind of joked around about is coming to fruition. Which for me is even more so like, all right, we need to get it available because I will take
Give me the fucking vaccine.
I will 100% take it if I need it to. I mean, I'm going to take it regardless, but like if I like had a vacation planned in a month and you're not going to let me go, there should be something implemented. Like if you're traveling, here you go. Like
you get pushed to
you have some sort of way to get on a list to get it, to get taken care of or whatever. So what are your guys' any thoughts, insight, anything about COVID? Just as far as us still being in here, any expectations of anything changing over? Where do you see us in the next couple months, 6 months, anything like that?
There's always been like, people have always made the predictions as to when things are going to get back to normalcy, and all that. We've heard everything from the start of this year to summer to the end of this year to all over next year. At this point, as crazy as it is to say, I still think we're too early in this game, even still. Like, every great plague, when you look back at everything that is, whether it's the bubonic, whether it's, the Black Plague, all these different ones, like you're talking a decade, like whether it's not just, the infection, but the influence that follows. I think there's so much about this even now that we still don't know. And I don't see how this year could even get back to normal. I think we're having small instances with like stadiums and games and stuff like that, but that's only like 2,000 or 3,000 people at a time, man.
Right.
We're going to a Cavs game here in May, but like there's 2,700 people in attendance at that.
Right.
And they're all spread out like
For
viciously.
sure.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I would hate to even make a prediction at this point. I just think honestly, we need more people to get vaccinated. And until that happens, we're going to stand still right where we're at.
For sure.
Yeah, right now I have a U.S. vaccine tracker that you guys can use on Twitter. It's at U.S. Vaccine Count. They update every single day what the count is, and it is at 13.3% of America is currently vaccinated.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
embarrassing.
And that's in about a month and a half. So it goes up almost 1% every single day. I think it'll really skyrocket once that May time comes when Biden says we're all going to be able to get vaccinated.
I'm curious if that number, I'm curious percentage of what that number is as far as reluctancy and availability.
I think it's availability because like you said, I mean, you can't get it. Chris and I only got it because of our jobs. Otherwise we would not be having it right now. My wife can't get it.
Yeah.
I went through hell for my mom.
Yeah. My wife's high risk. She's got asthma. She's pregnant. Like she is almost guaranteed to have severe complications if she were to have it, but she still cannot get it. They are starting to roll it back. They've made it so that now 16-year-olds are able to get it.
Yeah.
They're saying that the AstraZeneca vaccine that they are working on is capable to be used for all children of all ages. So they're still testing that.
And that's improved from 74% to 79 now as far as effectiveness goes.
Right. So we're working in the right direction. It's just a matter of getting there. That's all that it is.
What do you guys think about masks? I know they've changed some of the rules. If you're vaccinated, you don't need to have a mask. They've changed things with classrooms where I can't remember what it was.
Like me and Jesse can hang out without a mask.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on actually doing that? Like, so do you think as things start to get better with more vaccines and mask laws loosen up, people continue to wear them voluntarily? Or do you think people are like, once that's gone, people are gonna be like, God, I'm done with them and stop?
Already not wearing it at work.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm with the other teachers who have all been vaccinated, I'm
You
like,
don't have to
take this shit off.
Yeah.
Like,
what about in public, even when you're vaccinated?
in public, I wear
you
it.
have to, but I mean, I guess say like next week they said, you know what, enough people have been vaccinated in Ohio, you don't need to wear your mask in public. Do you think, and not to put anybody on the spot, but I'm just curious, like what the mindset is of people. You know, I've heard people say that they're going to continue to wear masks regardless because you know what, they didn't get sick and they've been less sick and they feel like it's healthy and whatever. I don't know.
I'll as far as like going to the store and stuff and all that, like I will wear a mask as long as they have the rules in place.
Right.
Because I can't go in and shop unless I'm wearing my mask. When it comes to like hanging out with friends and stuff like that, I don't really sweat that as much though. Like to me, it's like I'm cured now. I can still be a carrier for it to people who aren't vaccinated, but like to me, it's such a slim chance, and I'm always pretty distant. Like I'm claustrophobic to begin with. Yeah. I don't hang out close with people when it comes to parties.
Right.
You're over there, I'm here.
Right.
So for the most part, I'm always kind of distant as it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine wearing a mask, but like the thing is, it's really up to these people who are fighting this thing. You know, it's like, you know, they are so, I don't want to paint another ugly picture or a negative picture, but like they're fighting this thing so bad. And at the same time, they're complaining about having to keep wearing this mask. And it's one and the same, guys. It's the reason we are wearing this mask is because you are fighting so strongly.
Because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of at the point where until we know things are really like under wraps and majority of people have been vaccinated, continue to wear it, at least within close quarters. But like going to the Cleveland Zoo, like if allowed, I would have been totally comfortable not wearing my mask. I'm outside. I'm not in close vicinity with another person. I know to keep my own distance. Had they not had the rule, I probably would not have worn one because based on like the reasoning for wearing it, I don't think I was in a position where I would have been at risk had I not had it on. Now, if I'm going to go through a walkway or something to get somewhere and I know I'm going to pass by people real close, of course, like I will put it on, but I don't personally have that concern in those types of situations where I feel like I need to have it on. I'm by all means going to follow the rules.
Yeah.
While it's being imposed, there was tons of people there that had them like under their nose or under their chin, even though it says at all times wear your mask. You got those idiots that just don't do it because it's ignorance or they just don't care, whatever it might be. But I will continue to wear it without hesitation as long as it's implemented. But I'm definitely ready for a day where I don't have to because it is fucking, especially when it's hot out. It's just awful.
I just want work to be done. Like I want, like, more than anything, I'll wear it to store and all that shit. I want the day to come where it's like, okay, we don't have to wear them at work anymore.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. Question. So, and I never thought about it. And it was like a subconscious thing, but Ashley said something when we were at the zoo. Do you guys notice that when you wear your mask, you breathe through your mouth more than your nose?
Yes.
I don't.
You breathe through your nose?
I breathe through my nose.
I don't breathe through my mouth, but I never thought about it until she said something. But when I wear a mask, I catch myself, I breathe through my mouth instead of my nose. And I don't know why.
I do it because if I breathe through my nose, my mask bothers me more. Like it'll cling in.
Okay.
And then it comes out and clings back in when I'm breathing. So
weird. I never noticed that I did that until I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, actually I do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think that when it comes to the masks and everything, I will wear it in public until the majority of people are vaccinated.
Yeah.
I think that if we didn't have a baby on the way, that would change.
Of course.
If Steph were to be vaccinated tomorrow and we didn't have a baby, totally cool. We wouldn't wear the mask. It'd be whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's like we only really see each other. My family is vaccinated, so it doesn't matter if I carry it. You know what I mean?
Is there any kind of transmission concern to a baby if you're vaccinated? Like, can
yes, because
Yeah.
the baby doesn't have the vaccination, so he can be a carrier for his baby.
Yeah. So I could bring COVID home, even though Steph and I can't get sick and give it to
the baby can get it.
Now,
and we don't know the effects of giving it to pregnant women, so that's why Steph is
Of
not going
course.
to get it.
Now you have
until
what?
Either until we get the okay or until
you pop a
after we
baby
have
out.
the baby.
Yeah. Now you have to realize with that chance, as far as he could be a carrier, that's a 5% chance because he's 95% immune.
Right.
So like he only has a 5% chance to be a carrier for that. He won't get sick, but his baby probably will.
And the thing is we don't have like we're not to the point where once the baby's born, like they'll get all their vaccinations as soon as he's born. COVID ain't one of them yet. That's not tested. So whenever our baby's born, unless something like major strides are made before then, he won't get that vaccine.
Yeah, of course.
So like the first couple of months, like nobody's holding my
Cautious,
baby.
yeah.
Like aunts and uncles that I don't know where the fuck you been. Sorry, like you're not holding my baby. Sorry.
I don't
Get
do
the
it
fuck
anyway.
outta
I'm
here.
very weird about that.
I'm worried about holding kids too.
Yep.
I thought like the 95% effective means you have a 95% chance of not getting it. I didn't know that played into percentage as being a carrier.
No, it is. So I'm 95% protected against that. So like there's a 5% chance that I will be a carrier for it. Now, when I'm a carrier for it, I won't get sick, but I can transfer that to say you who doesn't have.
So that 5% isn't meaning 5%, meaning that you could still get it and be sick from it. You're
could.
not. Oh,
It's
so
just very
confusing to
rare.
me.
No. I'm 100%. So as far as getting sick goes, it won't happen. I'm 100% against that. I could get it though, and
Is
it just
it?
be floating in my body. Yeah. But it won't get me sick. That's what the vaccine does. It fights that.
Okay.
So now, as far as
I
you
know
being a
that.
carrier goes, I can pass it on to you though, who doesn't have the vaccine, and you could get sick.
See, I didn't know
think
that.
that
I thought
those
that we still had a
numbers-
5% chance of getting sick.
Yeah,
No, I didn't realize
those
that.
numbers are deceiving to some people. So that's something to definitely look into or understand that percentage means your
Should
ability
know.
to possibly be a carrier, not
Definitely
That's the
immortal now.
That's a big difference
Fuck these
in
masks.
the way that I was distinguishing the numbers.
Your baby though.
That's true.
Yeah. Interesting.
Fuck them
cool.
kids.
Well,
Just kidding.
jeez.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right.
Steph doesn't listen to the show.
So that's that's our COVID news. I think that's really all that we've got for you guys.
It's kind of our thing.
That's
It's kind of our thing.
we had some changes in stuff. Vaccines coming through though, so hopefully that makes a difference. All three of my parents, my stepmom, my dad, and my mom have all gotten it or are getting it. So
That's good.
I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, my whole family except for my sister is vaccinated.
By choice or just unavailability.
Just she's not old enough, doesn't have it. My
Yeah.
parents are vaccinated. My grandparents are vaccinated.
Wow, Ron.
Talked to Steph's grandparents yesterday. about
Ron
getting
got
them.
it.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Ron?
He's never been. He's always been masked up, and he's not a QAnon idiot. He's just
He's just Ron.
he's just dumb.
Well, I'm getting my shot. Ernie, bring me a drink.
I'm gonna get a call tomorrow. He's gonna feel like, what the hell do you mean I'm dumb?
I love Ron. He's hilarious. All right, guys. Anything else for the good of the group, show, audience, friends, family?
No.
Anything else this week? That's all.
Go Stipe.
Gee, does he have a fight?
Yeah, this Saturday.
Yeah, we got a fight coming up.
Francis
Gonna fight
Nagano.
other people. Gonna beat his ass. Gonna show him still the greatest heavyweight of all time. And if you want to watch my Twitch, I play a lot of Warzone, so I shoot all the people, and I use M4 Kilo and all these good guns. Subscribe to my Twitch. Name is Stipe Miocic. Have a good night. Made to Motivate podcast. Glad you guys had me on.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Unk SI on Twitter. Chris the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate Podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.